Good evening. Welcome to this called meeting of the Northside Board of Trustees. Before we call our first agenda, we'd like to briefly take a moment to read some rules. And actually, shouldn't we do our prayer first? Okay. I'm reading the wrong one. Okay, please stand as Trustee Salcido does our invocation and allegiance, please. Oh, Dr. Harrell. Okay.
We can do it together. Please bow your heads. Almighty and merciful God, we ask your guidance and blessings upon this board, our students, our parents, our patrons, teachers, and administrators, as we are assembled here this evening in the common pursuit of this great nation's wealth, our children. Amen.
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 I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state under God, one indivisible. Thank you.
Okay. The time is now 6:04 and the meeting is now officially called to order. Welcome to our regular meeting of the Northside Board of Trustees. And before we call our first agenda item, we would like to just take a moment to review the rules of conducting our meeting. The order of business for this meeting is set out in our agenda. And one item that you may notice on the agenda is the consent agenda. It includes items that are routine and recurring in nature, and all items under the consent agenda are acted upon in one motion. So if there's a consent agenda item that anyone here would like to address, please sign up to speak to that item, and we will pull it from the consent motion and discuss that separately. We're also required by law to allow for public participation regarding the school financial integrity rating systems report. And if you would like to speak to either item, please sign up to address the board by indicating your intent to speak to agenda item number 1, and you will be allowed to do so following the administrative presentation. The purpose of this meeting is to conduct board business, and for that reason, it is held in public. It is not a public forum. However, we do provide opportunity for the audience to participate. If you wish to address the board regarding the citizens to be heard agenda item, you have to complete that sign-up sheet prior to the beginning of the meeting. And if anyone would like to address the board during an agenda item, we ask that you please complete the sign-up sheet and indicate the agenda item that you would like to address. The sign-up sheets are located at the entrance of this room, and so we do not overlook anyone who would like to speak to the board. We will review the rules for addressing the board later in the meeting. Is there anyone here who would like to sign up for an agenda item or citizens to be heard and has not already done so? Okay. We're going to go ahead and make a little change in the agenda to begin with the honors and recognition portion, so we can let you go home to dinner at a decent time. Thank you.
Yes, Madam President, members of the board, this is an exciting night. We have with us a very special group of individuals, and I've got an entire script, but I'm not going to read the script, so apologize. Leadership Northside was really started so that we could engage community members, which, if you recall, many of these individuals you recommended, and really provide insight into what happens across many departments and really in the inner workings of Northside ISD. And I will tell you that not only have they been very engaged, but it's been really just a pleasure to work with these individuals and hopefully graduates. That sounds so strange. Hopefully graduates, you've had the opportunity, like I say, to really learn about the inner workings of Northside ISD. It was a great year. They had the opportunity to receive legislative updates. They had the opportunity to attend or participate in a bus tour, which I believe this year included a trip to Los Leones and the police station and a few other stops. And really, I just want to personally thank you all for taking time out of your busy schedules. These are obviously busy professionals with families and obligations. And like I say, they spent about 2.5 hours every month learning more about Northside so that they could be true advocates for everything that we do for both students, staff, and our community. So thank you for your dedication to your community, and thank you for your dedication to the Northside Independent School District. I want to introduce, I think you all know, Nicole Franco, as well as Diana Ely. They really have helped orchestrate, and this is our second cohort of our Leadership Northside graduates, but they have really helped orchestrate, like I say, what the curriculum looks like, and of course the channeling of information. So thank you both, and they're going to be assisting with this evening's awards. And so if we have audience members that are interested in also learning more about Northside and becoming an advocate, becoming a champion for Northside, reach out to Diana Ely, Nicole Franco, or myself, our trustee, because we'll be kicking off the third cohort come this January. And so, again, thank you all for taking time out of your busy schedules to be here this evening. But more importantly, thank you for electing to take us up on the opportunity to be true champions for Northside ISD. And with that being said, I'm going to turn this over to Diana Ely and Nicole Franco. If I can have the trustees join me in front of the dais, we're going to, like I say, award some very, very special recognitions.
So Dr. Kraft, while you guys are coming down, every member who graduates as a champion gets a special pin. And you want to hold that up? And so it does say a champion of Northside, and so you have to graduate the program to get the pin, and then as they exit, they'll be given a certificate. So.
I'll be going to every one of them. I think it'll be official, but I'll ask for a pin. I'll ask Nicole for a pin after.
All right, first one, Adrian Reyna. Andrew Torres.
She has the plan.
Yeah, she's pretty amazing.
I think you have to go through the middle.
Yeah, come on back.
I think you have to go through the middle. Yeah.
Miguel Castro is crossing the stage now. Belinda Chapa Gonzalez. Yeah. Why don't you just come in?
Yes.
Miguel and I are partners in crime.
It's great to have us.
We're going to switch you guys and start coming this way. It's crowded, sir. It's crowded. Brenda Clark. Christine Maestros. Cole Ryan Bowles. Emily Delgado. Grace Garza. Kamini Mehta. Lauren Reyes. Lisa Coleman. Dr. Lisa Mendoza Connect.
So sweet. Little sandals.
Melissa Rosales. I'm going to call the next one close because this is a family unit. Michael Rosales. Yeah. Talk about a true commitment. There's some daycare right there.
I didn't either. That is very sweet.
Pearl West. Dr. Robert Rico. Now you're making me laugh. Santiago Jaramillo. Shawanda Roberts. He's a good student, sir. Good student. You want me to take your picture? Dr. Simon Lau.
Nicole's photographer too.
I know she's good.
Okay, I want to see you do your presentation.
So that's it. Now we're ready for photos. Okay.
Okay, good luck.
Come on up, class.
We'll put them in the middle.
We're gonna move this. Hi, Pearl.
Yes, we did. Yes. Oh, you can be taller. Yeah.
Oh, that's a good idea. Just don't give them the rabbit ears, Sonia.
I don't think it's gonna work. Yeah, I was like, it won't work. It will not work.
We're told it was.
Oh, yeah, he's doing it the right way.
Yeah.
Everybody get his number.
So is this?
Yes.
Thank y'all. If you want an individual photo, we can do those as well. Really, we appreciate it so much.
Okay.
You know, my son's in supply training with turn of instructions, large
this too, just in case.
Yes, yes. Yeah, that's
Wow. So if it comes up tonight, let me know.
Yep,
I mean, or I'll
yep.
be ready. Tiffany and Andrea too to say, okay, this may change.
wow.
Yes.
You know, think of how many people have just lost their jobs. I mean, and what if somebody well, yeah, because I saw like some of the historically institutions. Well, and I think, can you imagine, you and I are close together. What if you were 35, you had little ones at home, you know, you still got to go 15 years, 20 years before you retire, and then you get laid off. I mean, that's, you know, and you're in the middle of all your expenses.
Buying a house.
Yes.
I think, well, I'm just thinking about teaching. I was going to school business right now, but I stayed.
Oh, I know. I mean, you've got a really
And yeah, and that is
you hate to
I should
say
be the
it.
cheerleader.
Right, right. Well, what I think is the market is just going to change into the education jobs. I mean, there'll always be teaching, but I think it's going to be a lot of education companies, service providers, contract. I mean, you're still going to need content experts to do stuff, but I think it's going to, the market's just going to be different. It's not going to look like kind of, you know, what I did coming up as a teacher and administrator. Oh yeah, I didn't guess there was going to be kind of a almost a reception.
Oh, I guess more because
Which that's nice, and it seems like it's a real honor. Yeah, I'm proud to log a couple things that the district's never done. That I think are, I mean, like the student ambassadors and voice. That has been
oh, did y'all not
fantastic.
do the voice? That was one of my favorite things. Did you go to that?
Oh yeah.
Okay, I'm not part of that one.
Yeah,
But it
well,
was one of my favorites.
I went to one of the first ones, and then yeah.
I went as I was in law, of course I got to lead that.
Yeah.
And it was one of my favorite things
Yeah.
because you get to run things by them.
Oh
that
yeah.
it's such a different
Yes. And you really see, yeah, so I mean, he spearheaded that, he spearheaded this, he's some good things, and I think
when I used to do district meeting, but I would do I forgot what we call it there, it wasn't student voice, but same concept. And we bring out things like, just various, I mean, just
Right.
anything, technology changes, not letting all
Right.
of that we would take through that type of
oh, and you
and it was so many times I was blown away that it was a different what I expected them to go with.
Yeah, because
was
sometimes
totally
you
different.
expect them to be
Yes.
super liberal,
Right.
and other times I find that
Or
they
how
can
does
be
it
more
affect them?
strict.
I can see, a lot of times I'm thinking, they're never going to go with this because they don't, and I'm like, okay, they're talking about how rowdy kids are, blah, blah, blah.
Yes.
Like,
Yeah, and they're
Totally
able to
different.
think beyond themselves.
they are, and it's so good to see. Always made me
Yeah,
feel
it's
so good.
I love it.
So when do we nominate for, are we gonna talk about when we nominate the next?
Yes, as a matter of fact, that should be coming in Friday letter. Because yeah, we need to get a good slate. This has been so good.
Get to meet them for the
Hey,
first time.
hey, good. On the way out.
Now get your next list together.
That's when you just smile and speak
Smile
to
at them.
everyone.
It's great to meet you.
That's right. Okay.
Terry missed the first part.
So
Oh, how cute.
one of my favorite memories of when I first met Kraft, we were doing a school district craft day, and he comes with Michelle and the girls and Reagan. Maybe, do you remember when Reagan ran that 5K in that week? She was about 5 years old. I said, I remember.
Yeah, I remember.
So she has all these pink cowboy boots. And he says,
Yeah,
"You're gonna run
I
this?"
texted Monica, is this
She wouldn't run. So she's like, if you're gonna make a run, we're gonna do it. And she did. She did the whole thing. It was hilarious. You know, now that I know her as an adult, that personality is so true. It's so true. She is
That's
so
adorable.
I'm gonna do it my way.
Yeah, that's me.
Nobody's gonna tell me my way.
That's cool.
It's so funny to think she don't really see. Good job, Nicole.
Nicole, that was great. What a good group.
I've got to respond. I need to, and to focus on Meade would be a really good idea. And our other schools. How is that going, by the way? I haven't.
Now I'm starving.
I need to the reading thing.
It starts in November 10th. Started today on official. Monday on official. Practice.
Oh, the
I
body's left.
know, yes.
November 10th. Talked to SAPD today.
So how are trustees participating? Are we participating? Is it, huh?
I'm gonna send out the bids vote. But they gotta just fill out a Google form this time. You got a Google form. The trustee has volunteered.
All right. That was exciting. Thank you all. So we'd like to move to our next item with a little move around for the citizens to be heard section. We believe that citizens to be heard is an important and meaningful way that we listen to what you have to say and we value your opinions. Although we are restrained by law from taking any action, we'd like to remind you to please address your remarks to the board, confine them to a Northside policy or practice, and limit to 3 minutes. At the 3 minutes, you're going to be asked to wrap it up, and Mr. Saucedo will show you the warning minutes. And please do not make any personal attacks on individuals. Thank you.
I got to the meeting.
First to sign up, I believe we have another special guest, Anna Corta.
Oh, okay. Hey.
Well, I am super excited to be here. Normally, I'm on the other side in my other school district. My name is Ana Cortez, and I am the president of Manor ISD School Board, but I'm also the president emeritus of MASBA, the Mexican American School Board Association, for this. Well, we went national. So I'm very excited here to present Northside ISD, the Outstanding Cultural Initiative. But before I do, I hope I can just read the real quick mission and vision, and I really like your mission.
Thank you.
MASBA empowers school board members to be culturally conscious leaders for the advancement of the Latino Mexican American community. Our vision is simple: to create an equitable public education system, period. So going back to your mission, transform the learning experience for students. Well, guess what? You guys did that. And I'm so excited to recognize Northside ISD as the recipient of the Outstanding Culture Initiative Award from our last MOSBA National Conference. Remember, it's a national conference. You should be very proud of yourselves. The recognition celebrates your district's outstanding work in embracing diversity and honoring the rich cultural heritage of your students, families, and community. Northside ISD continues to show that when we lead with corazón, heart, we create learning spaces where every student feels seen, valued, and empowered to thrive. On behalf of MASBA, congratulations on this well-deserved honor. Thank you for leading with purpose, pride, and cultural excellence. Felicidades, Northside ISD. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Ms. Cortez, and I apologize for mispronouncing your last name.
Thank you for coming all the way from Manor. We appreciate your
Mayor,
trip.
can I yeah, I know citizens be heard, so I'm just going to state some facts. So Anna and I have been fortunate to collaborate for a number of years on a number of different activities, et cetera. But she did me a favor in her role, both a Manor ISD as well as MASBA. She was one of the dancers at one of my Renaissance with the Stars, over 800 people in attendance at the Tobin, and she's the first one we've had outside of San Antonio, you know, with her coming from the Manor. So I owe her a lot, and she came down and did all her dances and everything else. So a tribute to you, and thank you for recognizing us also.
We are familia, we are one, and I'm so honored to be here. I'm always happy to help. Thank you. Can I take a picture?
I'd like to
Picture?
thank you also for kind of setting the pace. I know in your own district, you were the first Latina to run and win, and now you're running the whole town. So congratulations, and continue doing the good work. We're watching you, so thank you.
Thank you. Can I take a picture?
Board like to come out again from the dais.
So I would like to post it on MASBA.
I love her personality.
Yes.
Yeah, it's perfect.
Yes. And
I don't know if I could pull it off.
I don't think I could either.
Like some people do stuff, like even like big bowl jewelry. I'm like,
Adrian,
so good.
she looks so great. Yes, and I'm like, I would look like it now.
She'll have a belt and the shoes and what, and she's awesome. Yeah, I would look like a clown. I would look like I was playing dress up.
Exactly.
Yeah, she's Adriana. Have you ever seen her office?
Yes. I went in there when we because she did the Fiesta medals. Yes.
So I've never been in her home, but they bought a new home a couple years ago, and I asked her, I go, does she look? She goes, oh yeah. She collects art, and everything is just colorful and creative. Yeah. So I'm sure her home is like how she dresses, just so stylish and unique.
Yes. I bet it's
Yeah,
fun.
that's, oh yeah.
My sister has a bit of that.
Okay, thank you for that. Next signed up, Vera Billingsley.
Good evening, board members, and I just want to say, yes, I don't want to burst your bubble, but about communicating with your constituents. I brought a little note earlier last week, and I was hoping for a response, but didn't get one. So I hand carried it and brought it. It was, yes, for you.
If I can interject, I don't know if my mic's working. This is the first opportunity I had an opportunity to give it to her. So
Oh,
she's just
really?
receiving it. Yes, this is our first board meeting since
Oh,
you dropped it.
okay. Well, I apologize then. You have a whole week or more to get back to me. Thank you. Well, anyway, yes, I really think that we can learn from our mistakes. Okay, moral education. My husband wrote this because we were talking about what's good, what's evil, and there's so much that we can learn from the oldest book in the world that's been archaeologically found, and we know we pray to him. And I just wanted to bring this to your attention. Okay, moral education is a process, and my husband wrote this, of teaching ethical principles. You can find this in the dictionary. You probably know this already. Values, virtues to help individuals distinguish right from wrong. But there's a higher compass that we need to look to and develop. Our Constitution tells us that we have a creator and we are fearfully and wonderfully made. Okay, and to develop that moral compass, if the child is not getting it at home and he becomes a bully, what do you do? Are you going to correct him? Are you expecting the parent to correct him? Well, it has to be a united effort, I believe. Um, it focuses on developing character traits, empathy, integrity, respect, responsibility through methods such as stories, parables, as we have biblical parables, discussions, and practical examples. The ultimate goal is to foster responsible, compassionate, ethically minded citizens who can navigate complex social situations and contribute positively to society. Even if a person is in a wheelchair, they can contribute because they still usually have a voice. And even if they don't have a voice, we have an avenue prayer that we know, and we need quiet time because I think there's too much noise in our culture for our kids to even think, what is life's purpose all about?
Thank you.
Okay, I'll just finish with this. Micah 6:8 says, He has told you what is good and what the Lord Adonai is seeking for you. Only to practice justice, to love mercy, and to walk humbly with your God.
Thank you.
I know I saw Melina Spiritu has a car. Okay, I'm sorry, Melina. You were on this side of the. You were on this side, and then you moved over.
Tricked you. I moved over. All right. Good evening, Board President Dr. Duran, Vice President Dr. Hasso, trustees, and Dr. Kraft. My name is Melina Espiritu Azocar. I'm the proud president of Northside AFT, the only local union representing the workers of Northside ISD and the largest employee organization in the district. The right of educators and school workers to access their chosen union or employee organization is a fundamental workplace right, not a privilege. For decades, Texas AFT and Northside AFT have stood beside the workers who make our schools thrive, building advocacy and engagement in support of strong public schools. Northside's leadership and this board have always expressed a commitment to respecting and empowering district workers. But to truly make that possible, workers must have equitable access to their union or employee organization. Today, we are presenting over 450 petitions from Northside workers, parents, and community members asking the policy DGB Local, last updated in 1988, be brought into the present. That outdated language restricts workers from meeting with their union during duty-free lunch and gives principals broad discretion to deny access even for pre-scheduled meetings. It limits communication, undermines fairness, and blocks workers from the support they deserve. To be clear, we are not requesting consultation. Our request is simple and very fair. That principals and administrators respond to campus access requests from unions and employee organizations, that workers be allowed to meet one-on-one with their union or employee organization during non-instructional duty-free lunch periods. Texas law allows workers to organize and be represented by their chosen union or worker organization, and nothing in law prohibits districts from granting reasonable access. Neighboring districts, including San Antonio, Judson, Southwest, Austin, Dallas, and Houston ISDs, already provide structured and respectful access.
Providing access does not mean endorsement or of a specific union or employee org. It means ensuring communication, transparency, and partnership. When unions are part of the conversation, workers feel heard, leaders gain early insight into concerns, and collaboration replaces conflict. At the last policy committee meeting, it was suggested that unions or employee organizations are comparable to vendors. This is not accurate, and it misrepresents the work that unions do. Vendors sell goods and services. Union represents the people who make this district work, and we are partners in maintaining stable, supportive schools for students and staff. Finally, we asked the board to update policy DGBA local to include clear timelines for assigning grievances hearing dates. Without timelines, workers and families are left waiting and uncertain. Adding timelines promotes transparency, fairness, and accountability. Updating both DGB and DGBA local policies reflects the best of what Northside ISD stands for: collaboration, respect, and fairness for the people who serve our students every day. Thank you for your time and for your continued commitment to Northside workers and families. We are submitting these petitions tonight, representing just half of the total we've gathered here, and then we have these that are printed. So thank you all very much for your time.
Thank you.
The next individual signed up is Tracy Jordan.
Good evening, Dr. Kraft, Dr. Dudine, members of the board. I'm Tracy Jordan. I'm a proud educator of the John Jay High School Science and Engineering Academy, where I teach the E in STEM. But I'm here tonight as the Vice President of the Northside American Federation of Teachers, Local 3216. And I'm here to speak this evening on the necessity of the local policy changes proposed by our petition, for which we have collected a large number of signatures from workers all across the district and throughout our San Antonio community, as you see. The mission of Northside Independent School District is to transform the learning experience of students, or for students. We, the educators, teachers, custodians, instructional assistants, cafeteria workers, counselors, social workers, and more, are passionate about creating positive learning experiences for our students. Yet, we cannot accomplish this goal without the assurance of our rights being respected. Every day, we educate our society's young minds in order to create a better future. Unfortunately, not all campuses are equally supportive and respectful of their workers' rights. This is why we are advocating for an equitable access policy for the union and the employee organizations. Current local policy regarding employee organizations has been in place since 1988. As a result, it does not meet the needs of our workers in the 21st century. The policy prevents employee organizations from meeting the workers during the workday, such as during their duty-free lunch. By meeting with their union or other employee organizations, a worker can identify concerns, build rapport with other workers on campus, and seek to address common issues with administration. This facilitates an environment of collaboration, communication, and problem solving, which boosts morale and leads to a stronger campus culture as a whole. In conclusion, the theme of this school year is Northside Independent School District is Northside Unstoppable. In a time when people are leaving the education profession in droves, it is essential that our school district take steps to provide a working environment in which workers at all campuses and work sites can consult with union or employee organizations of their choosing. Only then can Northside become unstoppable, when our leadership recognizes the importance of worker voice, just as we've recognized student voice, to build a strong community school. Thank you for your time and consideration. We hope that the school board will consider the importance of this local policy change in order to support working people in the Northside Independent School District.
Thank you.
Terry Zablocki.
Visual aid. Good evening. I'm here to deliver this evening 2 items. Number 1, for the Northside Education Foundation, I give you an original, unsealed Ninja Turtle, okay? I'm here for a purpose. And I'm relating this to 25 years ago, Robb Elementary. You're celebrating this year the 25th anniversary of Robb Elementary. Bunny Jean Rabba, bless her, Bunny Jean started the Northside Education Foundation. I was present at the first meeting. It was held at the ballroom somewhere downtown, and my son collected money in a cowboy hat. You all, those of you who are new to Northside, I don't know if you've ever made a donation or attended in the way it was. When we look back in terms of Northside, I'm here today for 2 reasons specifically. What the previous group spoke about had nothing to do with student achievement or student safety. It was all about one particular organization. And I'm talking to the new members of the board, the new members who have no idea what in heaven's name, how the Northside Communication Network started, what it's like when you go to, what is it, and where do we all scream, you know, you elect people from the campus and we say, yeah, whatever that is. Anyhow, so back when I was a new baby board member and thought everything was perfect, and as long as I'm on the board, I'm going to change it, make it all better. Katie Reed, thank goodness, got in my face politely, as only Katie Reed can do. And Katie took me and showed me I knew nothing political in terms of campaigns. And she took me to Ruben Munguia's print shop. Ruben Munguia's print shop on the west side to make sure that her mail out had the union label on it. And that is the standard. And I bring that to you because on the agenda tonight is about library books. And so on Thursday last week, I was down at the public library for the signing. I got Henry Cisneros to sign my book about the mega region. And the marvel that I want to talk about is the marvel that we have been, this board. You were talking about electioneering. You represent the board. Pasquale used to get me over in the corner and say, go ahead, say all the things you want to say, because when you step out, you represent Northside. Whether you're in HEB, wherever you are, not just if you're in the boardroom. If you want to electioneer or associate with any organization, you do it as an individual, but know that every single thing you do, people will watch who you talk to. And when it comes to the current issues on the Project Marvel, we need to stay student focused. Thank you.
Good evening, members of the board. Thank you for the opportunity to speak here tonight. I'm here on behalf of several parents who share the concern to express deep worry about the decision to divide the vice principal role between Helotes and McAndrews Elementary without additional compensation or staffing. The role of vice principal, as I'm sure you know, is not what it was 30 years ago. The demands on campus leadership have grown significantly, and splitting this position among 2 schools reflects a cost-saving measure that does not align with the complex modern realities of school administration. At Helotes alone, our vice principal manages testing, student behavior investigations, 504 compliance, staffing, crisis drills, and even lunch and dismissal duty, while filling staffing gaps with only 2 instructional assistants for more than 300 students, compared to 6 or 7 at similar-sized campuses. She's also leading PLCs, especially in math, now that we no longer have a math specialist, or working with rotating specials teachers such as STEM, art, and music, who are not consistently present because they, too, are serving dual campuses. All of this is being done without the administrative support commonly found in similar sized schools. When our principal attends required district meetings, there's often no administrator left on campus. That is not a sustainable model. We understand NISD faces a significant budget shortfall, reported in local news to be around $90 to $100 million. And we recognize the difficult financial decisions that must be made, but it's hard for parents to understand why cuts are being made at the campus level where they most directly affect our students, while other expenditures are largely untouched. According to a December 2023 San Antonio Express News article, the district plans to spend about $4.5 million on new video scoreboards for Ferris Stadium and other athletic venues. While we understand those funds may come from different sources, the contrast still raises a question of priorities. Investing millions in facilities while reducing essential leadership at our campuses. According to the district's own budget, about 7 to 8% of general funds support instructional leadership and school leadership combined, the very categories that fund campus administration. Yet schools are being asked to do more with less. NASD exists for one purpose, to educate and support children. So why are reductions being made at the level most essential to that mission? The decision sends a disheartening message to our school leaders that their time, well-being, and impact are less valued than facilities or optics. I respectfully urge the board to either reinstate a full-time vice principal at both Helotes and McAndrews and provide the compensation and support necessary to make this dual role sustainable. Thank you for your time and your continued commitment to our schools.
Thank you.
The last individual I have signed up tonight is Sherry Bryce Dye.
Dr. Kraft, Dr. Duran, and ladies and gentlemen of the board. I am a licensed attorney in the state of Texas, focusing my practice on family law. Thank you for allowing me to speak tonight on behalf of my client today, who is facing potential employment termination under the executive session. I've known my client for many years and represented her.
I'm sorry, are we allowed to? No. Could this be a possible grievance? Come before the board?
Yeah, it could. There can't be any mention of personnel names.
Correct.
And the board, if it just for information purposes, the board has yet to take this matter nor any form of grievance associated with the personnel matter. So you have the ability to address the board, but just understand that that could have an impact in regards to any further grievance and or personnel related matters. So this is really not how we typically address personnel matters, particularly from a timing standpoint.
And Dr. Kraft, I guess where I'm confused is I consulted with someone today who directed me through the district's attorney, Jameson, to come today that I could. They requested permission as to where I should sign up to talk. I mean, my preference was to do it obviously in a less public forum. They told me to sign up under the citizens to be heard. So
It's your call. Like I say, it's your privilege to address the board through this portion of citizens to be heard. But addressing personnel matters, we cannot address individual names, specific details, and just understand that this matter, like I say, has not come before the board, particularly in a closed session and or an appropriate personnel hearing format.
okay, is it coming before the board today?
It's not on this agenda.
Okay, I was misinformed that it would be something that was being dealt with today then.
I would consult with your client.
Actually, it was another attorney who advised me that it was on the agenda for today. So I apologize. That's what I was advised of. And then also, I guess, conferred with the attorney for the district. So that's why I
Okay.
came today.
Like I say, it's not on this agenda this
Okay.
evening. So I apologize if there was misinformation conveyed.
That's okay.
Again, you have the ability to address the board. I don't know that this is the appropriate venue.
I agree. Okay. Thank you very much. I apologize. I was informed.
Thank you,
that-
ma'am. We appreciate you. Thank you.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
What next step? What's our next step?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. We will follow
We'll
up.
talk to you, ma'am.
Yeah. We'll coordinate.
All right, thank you all. And we now move on to a first item on the agenda.
Yes, the first item that we have up is our Financial Integrity Rating System of Texas. This is our annual report. We've got great news to share. Once again, Megan, Tiffany, of the entire business finance team has done really a phenomenal job. I won't steal their thunder, but it's a very, very high score. We had the opportunity.
Y'all are ace.
Go ahead.
May I go ahead and say it?
He's spilling the beans.
Teacher's pets. Be proud of us.
Well, it's higher than a 97, but it's lower than a 99. So, what do you think, ambassadors? They can do that math pretty quickly, I have a feeling. Welcome to our student ambassadors, by the way. Thank you guys for being here. Okay, so that being said, this item is for public review. This is also an opportunity for a public hearing, but we wanted to present, like I say, a very quick overview of the first report. And then, Madam President, we're going to ask that you open the floor for any public comment as a part of the hearing process.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Did you want to start with
No,
anything?
Tiffany is going
Okay.
to take this one tonight.
Okay. A public meeting is to be held to distribute a financial management report that explains the district's performance with the district's School Financial Integrity Rating System of Texas. What the acronym refers, it's the School First is what it is what that spells out. This is based on the 23-24 fiscal year financial information. The objective of Okay, next slide, please. Thank you. The objective of the School First rating is to assess, measure, evaluate, and report the quality of financial management. This 24-25 rating is based on the 23-24 audit financial data year. And we received these preliminary ratings on August 5th, 2025. The rating is based on a combination of scores for 21 financial indicators. There are 3 different types of scores. There are numerical scores, yes or no responses, and a ceiling pass or fail score. Each of those are listed here on the tables, so you can see the letter grade or rating that's assigned based on the number of points allocated to those 21 financial indicators. Then also in the second table, there are 7 indicators that, if failed, can impact the highest available rating to the school district. And so on the next slide, you'll see our lovely 98 out of 100 that we accomplished for the 23rd year in a row, which is really good. Next slide, please. Here are the scores for each of the 21 indicators for both last year and this year. Indicator 11 is the only indicator in which Northside had a reduction in points, so we scored 8 out of 10 points. That formula is the ratio of liabilities to assets, and to receive the full 10 points, the ratio must be less than 60%, and Northside is at 66%. So we're close, but not quite there yet. And then for easy reference on this last slide, we summarize the ratings across the state so that you can see how we compare to other school districts. The complete financial management report will be posted on our district website for public view. This report will provide the details and formulas used for each indicator, should the public want to refer to those. And that concludes the presentation.
Thank you. Do we have anyone that would like to speak on this item?
I do want to
Megan, sorry.
mention, if you don't mind, Dr. Jordan asked me, why is it 23-24? She whispered to me, and I thought that's a great question. It is 23-24 because our fiscal year just ended August 31st of 2025. So we are currently under audit. So we do not get our audit completed until December timeframe. We bring that audit report to you in January. It's submitted to TEA in January. So it takes that long for TEA to work up this report to get it to us. So if you wonder why it's behind, that's why. It's not really behind. Sorry. Thank you.
So again, Madam President, we are required to open the floor to a public hearing. I don't have anyone signed up, but I don't know if there's anyone that would like to speak to the Financial Integrity Rating System of Texas report. And like I say, just want to commend Megan, Tiffany, really the entire team.
Thank you
for all your hard work. Thank you, guys.
Yes, so Renee.
If there are no individuals to sign up, I think we can close the public hearing and we can move on to the next agenda item.
Thank you. Thank you all. Let's go ahead and move on to our next item on the agenda. Our superintendent's report.
Yes, ma'am. So I'll try to be brief. Again, it was great to celebrate with our Leadership Northside second cohort. Congratulations again to Burke Elementary Schools celebrating their 25th anniversary. A great celebration. Stevenson, their 50th anniversary, and of course, as already mentioned, Raba will be celebrating their 25th. Marshall High School will be celebrating 75 years. Lock Hill will also be celebrating 50 years, and we're looking. It's actually like 150, I think, but we're gonna massage it. It's 50 years in the building.
In the building.
So, variety of spellings. I've learned more about Lock Hill and the history, the heritage. It's pretty cool, actually.
Yeah, it's really cool.
So, like I say, we're looking forward to those celebrations. We did have the opportunity to once again see our fourth graders in action, literally with Ag in Action. This was the last week in September. It's been a little bit since we last met. Like I say, it was really just a great weather, great opportunity for students to engage and learn about agricultural science. I want to just commend again the Asta O'Connor High School students. They lead really all of the lessons and the teachings throughout the day. I know that they're exhausted by the last day because I was there and could see it, but they really did a phenomenal job. We also kicked off NCN, our Northside Communication Network. Again, I want to thank our representatives from across all of our campuses, both elementary and secondary. We had some great dialogue. We were able to answer quite a few questions and send responses to the campuses. And so we look forward, like I say, to kicking that off, or look forward to kicking that off and look forward to the continued conversation. We also had the opportunity to welcome our Northside Education Improvement Committee membership. This was also the last week of September. I know that they've already tackled the calendar, which we're aggressively working to try to bring a recommendation for the 26-27 as well as the 27-28 school year. That's hard to imagine to you by December, but it was great to visit with the NEIC committee as well. Had the opportunity to visit Driggers Elementary School. The Hounds are doing great work. I was able to attend the 5th grade A and AB and attendance recognition ceremony, and it was really for the mid-morning hours. It was a packed house. It was great to see the parents engaged. Special shout out to Arabella. She's a sophomore at O'Connor High School. Speaking of Asta, she presented me my first homecoming mum that I had ever received. No, I'm sincere. First homecoming mom I ever received. She raises goats with Asta. So Chad Bulkin, the principal, and we brought her out of the stands along with her mom and kind of embarrassed her just a little bit. But special thanks to Arabella. She's really a very, very special student and leader. Again, also accolades to Carlos Kuhn. They hosted a spooktacular, which really was early literacy skill set and really highlighting the joy of reading, learning, along with having some fun in association with Halloween. So again, congratulations to Jessica Lundquist, the principal, and her staff. Marching band, it's wrapped up, but we're very, very proud of all 12 of our comprehensive high school marching bands. They scored all ones, and thus they advanced. John Jay is still competing. Our other 11 actually were rained out, and so They had the opportunity for the first round to compete in the area first round, but then unfortunately Mother Nature had something else in mind, and so what they had to do is they had to revert back to the preliminary scores, and so they got bumped. But again, great marching season. Congratulations to our 3 cross country athletes that are moving on to state this weekend. Great water polo season. Again, volleyball wrapped up. In fact, Thursday, if you're interested, there will be volleyball being played at both the sports gym facility as well as Paul Taylor. I would imagine they're going to start probably about 5:30 because we've got games out the wazoo. So Harlan wins 28-6A, followed by O'Connor, and then Brennan and Sotomayor actually had to play a playoff game between Stevens just yesterday. Today's Tuesday. Yes, yesterday. It was a tough one. In fact, Sotomayor had to come back and win the last 3 games, so they dropped the first 2. They had to come back and win the last 3 games to advance into the playoffs. So congratulations to District 28-6A. And then also Clark and Brandeis are both advancing in 27-6A, which is our district with Northeast. And then John Jay, again, is advancing with 28-5A. So needless to say, we've got a lot of volleyball to be played in the playoffs by district. And then, of course, football, we have 2 more weeks before we wrap up football, and we'll be moving in those playoffs. We want to acknowledge 2 educators. Teresa Yasger, she is the Texas Art Educator Association Administrator of the Year, and Cruz Ramirez is the Middle School Art Teacher of the Year. So congratulations again to both. I know they work extremely hard and just do phenomenal work. And then finally, last week we had the opportunity to once again engage in the annual Parade of Nations. This is hosted by Colonies North. They had 28 different nations represented in just the parade alone, which are obviously a representation of the students that they educate. And so tonight's video moment is actually, I believe, highlighting Colonies North and the Parade of Nations. The weather held out. It was a little humid, but it was a great parade and really an overall great celebration. The principal, Norma Farrell, she can do the grito, so it was quite impressive, and it was pretty strong. I mean, knowing how difficult it sometimes can be, especially in front of a large crowd, she did a pretty good job. So if you'll check out our Parade of Nations at Colonies North.
Once every year, the kids at Colonies North Elementary grab a flag and get ready for a big celebration of diversity.
America flag, Indian flag. This is my state, America, and this is my grandpa's state, Somaliland.
It's called the Colonies North Parade of Nations, a time to show the community how much culture these kids have to offer. It starts with some music, a little dancing, a lot of fun, and then the big show, where the kids take center stage. There are hundreds of students participating in this parade today, representing 29 different countries. Pretty cool sight to see.
It's beautiful, it's fun, it's interesting.
School librarian and parade coordinator Marissa Mejia says it's a lot.
A lot of diversity, a lot of background, a lot of customs, a lot of languages that kind of get shared with one another. And it's just a brief reminder of like all the groups of students that we have here from so many different places.
A time and a place to feel welcome.
Sometimes you can feel isolated being from somewhere else, you know, and finding this community here is wonderful, you know, because it's not just your community, but you end up making friends with people from other communities, other backgrounds.
And with so many different backgrounds, the kids can't help but to learn about the world around them.
We learn from each other, we're curious about each other's backgrounds and about our own customs, our music, our food.
Which is why they wanted to take this Parade of Nations to the streets. to show the world what they already know.
It's nice. It's a reminder, right, that schools are not just in the schools. Schools are the community. They are part of the community.
Yeah, it really was. It was a very neat celebration. Once again, like I say, this is an annual event that Colonies North, I know, takes a lot of great pride in, and so we'll look forward to next year. And like I say, Norma has promised she's going to continue to practice her grito, but we look forward, to, like I say, to future celebrations. Madam President, members of the board, that completes my report.
Thank you. And now we're moving to the board's reports. We have Mrs. Freeman up.
Oh, that was an old button.
You want to speak?
Sure.
Okay.
Many of you know I've been on vacation for a couple of weeks. My husband and I had a great opportunity to join my son in Europe, and it was actually a trip of a lifetime. But I tell you, one of the most interesting things that happened, we found ourselves on a high-speed train heading toward Italy. And in Europe, or the Eurail trains, seats face each other. And there was a couple sitting across from my husband and I, and we just happened to strike up a conversation, right? And they were Chinese. And I'd heard them speak Chinese. I didn't realize they were speaking English. And the wife reached out and said something to me. And I said, where are you from? And she said, from Texas. I said, oh, that's interesting. I said, where in Texas are you from? She said, well, San Antonio. I said, you're kidding. And so we struck up this conversation, and it turns out that her husband is actually a professor at UTSA in the history department, and he's chair of the history department at UTSA. So you just never know where you are. San Antonio, it's really a small world. We had a really good time. Some of you may know my family is from Italy. My grandparents came here from Italy, and it was interesting because as I grew up, I heard them speak Italian a lot, and my dad did as well. And so it's interesting to go back and to hear the Italian language again. We had a really good time. I just want to take this time to, while I was gone, congratulations to Bobby. Bob,
your time's up.
No. Bobby was selected as one of the Spurs Legend and Legacies, or won an award for his community work in San Antonio. So he doesn't like to brag about it, but congratulations, Bobby. It's work that you do in Northside as well. So appreciate you.
Thanks.
And that's all I have.
Dr. Hassel?
Just want to highlight some of the events. I'm super thankful for the community events that I was invited to, and also the schools, and just keep them coming. So Mireles Elementary Start Strong Rally was amazing. Also Microsoft AI event, which was a partnership between Northside and Northside AFT. Super excited that Frost Bank has really invested in our community in District 2, which is Northside. And they opened up a Westover Hills Financial Center and just redid it. And so it just kind of want to say that that's great that businesses are really looking to add to our community. Aui Elementary read to fifth graders. I love the book that they gave me. I know fifth graders is not a group that most read to, but I definitely enjoyed it. Also got to make it to Ag in Motion and really got to see the fourth graders. I got to go to 2 days, not stay for the whole time, but got to go in and see the great work that they were doing. Got an amazing tour of everyone's animals, and that was amazing. Also got to go to Myers Author Fest. Really great time there. Got to see different authors that the students were listening to, and also got to talk to a lot of families. Also got to enjoy the time of Decision of Respect signing day at Hobby Middle School. They have a whole production crew there. I was not expecting that when I went in, but definitely something amazing. Also, Zachary's Fall Festival. Oh my gosh. I feel like there was like 100 people outside, another 100 people inside. They had the bands, different bands inside, and just such a huge community event. I parked, everyone was parking like down the street. Everyone from the community was walking in. Just an amazing event. Also, we got to attend the Alamo College Dual Credit Conference. I want to give praise to many of the curriculum individuals that were there from Northside that were really kind of connecting with other schools to learn more about dual credit. Also, National Night Out, I was able to attend Thunderbird Hills, the Great Northwest, and Northwest Crossing, and really just be a presence of Northside there in our community. Burke Elementary had the honor of giving the speech for the 25th anniversary. Such an amazing community. John Jay's Library Hispanic Heritage events, also College Night at NAC, which had so many colleges there from 4 years, from technical schools, and just an array. Also, the Northside Bowling Opener. So that was at Bandera Bowl Center. That was so much excitement. Please do not watch the video of me bowling. I am not a bowler. There are some unofficial videos of me. Do not believe it, but it's bad. it's the angle, but trust me, it was not a good thing. Warren's fall concert, we were able to attend that too. Really great event. Such great performances. Kobe Glass Elementary was able to read to some first graders, and then also Filipino American History Month. There was an event close by in the area, actually close by to here. Carlos Coon Elementary, they had their academic spectacular family event, and also the 4th annual Anson Jones Trunk or Treat, also the Great Northwest Trunk or Treat, and then also the 25th annual Boo Bash Parade and Carnival at Lindsay Place neighborhood. So thank you so much for everyone that was able to invite me. Please let me know. Love to just support and be there for everyone. Thank you.
Anybody else? Mr. Blunt? Oh, Ms. Zapata.
I'll just mention, because I know I attended a lot of those with Dr. Hasso, UIL regional band competition. That was, I think, the first time I've ever been to that, and it was spectacular just to see everybody on point, and it has to be done within a certain amount of time. And I mean, you had people running off the field trying to make it under time. So it was really neat just to see all that coordination. The Marshall pinning ceremony, just really, really a unique opportunity just to see how we're, making sure that our freshmen and our sophomores are on that path to graduation in their programs. And football games, I think to me, that's the biggest community event out there. And we saw a bunch of homecomings, just to go out there and see ROTC cheer, dance, Stuco band, coaches, the directors, the athletes, the parents, and the community. It's just a great place to be, just to be around energy, especially at the end of the week, right? So it was just really good to experience that, and just some really good games. The Decision of Respect was really unique. So I really thank Principal Caranco for inviting us out there, and the Warren Choir, the College Night at NAC. It's just so many amazing things. So little time, but again, just thank you for inviting us, and just keep inviting us, and so we can go out there and see all the great things.
Thank you. Dr. Harrell?
I thought Bobby, no? Yeah, I agree with you. I think keep the invitations coming. I got to be on a panel at Clark, and it was a Freedom to Read. Lucy Podmore said it the past couple of years. And sitting between Josh Brodesky from the Express News and Dale McNeil, who runs a library system in San Antonio, was my personal treat, sitting with them in front of a group of students who care so much about the freedom to read. I was having trouble, like right now, finding words because it just meant so much to them. The students and I had read a book called Verify. The two panelists had not. And Verify, if you want to read an incredible book that has an ending that left me mad, but then I found out she now has a new book coming out, which takes up where the book left off, is really about truth and what could happen in the future. And it is a dystopian environment where paper is outlawed. And it's this wonderful girl's journey from trusting everybody to trust and verify, and then verify, because trust has been broken. But it's an incredible book. We all read it, but the panelists were so profound, talking about books that had changed their lives that are now banned. And not in Northside, but I do want to thank Diana and Janice for tutoring me in our Northside policy and practice, because the parts of it I did not realize just from sitting up here and going into what we were doing are being actualized on the campuses, because the librarians are taking the time to reach out to the families and making them partners in the books they choose or don't want their kids to read. And that's a phenomenal gift we give our families. But again, thanks to Josh and to Dale for spending the time with the students, addressing all kinds of questions about books and rights and freedoms. And it was very wonderful. Bowling, the pictures are pretty good. Sadly, the worst kind of foods in the world are there, like every sugar, so I'm walking around loving on the kids, but saying like, we could eat better. We could, but it is bowling. We do have some kids that will get scholarships and have full rides to, like, it's hard to say, University of Oklahoma and some places like that, but bowling is a high scholarship area. And so, I appreciate them very well. And again, Be Well, Stay Well had 150 plus teachers go last Saturday. Lots of sessions, particularly aimed at financial health, physical health, mental health, a real gift. Speaking of mental health, one of our students that was did his is it ISM? I always want to say ISM. Ryan Almanza. He's now at University of Texas at Austin, which I don't have a hard time saying. He will be the keynote for the November 4th second annual Bexar County Area School Safety and Mental Health Summit. And I signed up. I'll put the information in Friday's letter, but to have one of our students kick that off, it's well attended. I think you went last year. Yeah, it was very well attended from community, from mental health professionals and organizations and government. So it's phenomenal. I did want to highlight Cast Teach, because one of the projects that the kids worked on with their project-based learning came to fruition, and it was a group of students that wanted to provide childcare to teachers who are at professional development, and they did it. And so they did it 2 weeks ago and provided childcare, which is phenomenal. I would love to hear how the educators felt about it, but we'll find out more later. The kids are on cloud nine. They're presenting that at a Communities in School conference later on in November as well. The one thing, I know we mentioned football, and it's always great to be at the games. One of the games I noticed when I was at the Gucci Bowl, the Clark, which is not the Gucci Bowl anymore, the Clark Churchill game, is all the students running around taking pictures, being very in command and control. And it's a wonderful new program that Conrad was telling me about, where we have, it's a student production interns. And John Jay has actually 26 students involved in it. And these kids are They have grown from being very quiet kids to very in charge. But Brandeis has 3, Brennan, Clark, Harlan, Holmes, South Careers, Marshall, Jay, again 26, O'Connor, Stephen, Sotomayor, and Taft. And it's a great program for our kids doing real world experiences. I couldn't be prouder of. And just, I've been doing a lot, following schools on social media just to see who's really getting out there. It's only my own kind of contest. And I just wanted to give a big shout out to Adams Hill Elementary. They're on everything. They're highlighting, they're doing a lot, they're highlighting a lot on 3 or 4 platforms, and that says a lot. So that'll be my shout out for the School of the Month for getting the word out, Adams Hill Elementary. So thank you very much.
Thank you. Mr. Blunt?
Thank you. Yeah, I really like these updates. I didn't know it wasn't the Gucci Bowl anymore.
The kids dressed up as the big Gucci.
Oh, okay, okay, all right.
They
I
were
didn't know that
mocking
changed.
it. They were
Okay,
mocking
okay.
it, which is a good thing to mock.
Just, I think, real quick, 5 quick items that I'll go through quickly. First of all, the went to PTA Council meeting, which is always enjoyable to see their commitment. But again, they did ask me to remind our board of our membership. That's their focus right now. So encouraging everybody to definitely join
Is there a deadline?
the PTAs in their areas. They just have a goal as soon as they can.
There's not like a goal
There's
by,
not a certain-
by this date?
No.
Okay.
Now, I know they want to announce it by Founders Day, but
When
but
is
yeah,
that?
that's not till in the spring.
Okay, we have time to.
February? Thank you.
February.
February. That's spring. No, that's, well, it's Texas spring. But okay. Ana Cortez is here with, and I know some other talk, I think Dr. Green might mention it also, the Mexican American School Board Association. They're, I always enjoy their pre-conference because of the audience that is there. And it's not just Texas and Colorado, California, and other states involved. But the way they structure the pre-conference, it's like 4 hours facilitated by a very good individual. And it's just discussion on really hot topics and difficult subjects. But what I like about it is the different perspectives are actually done is you learn from each other. And we don't agree with each other at all, but we actually learn from each other, which is very interesting. Very interesting to see, especially when you have someone been around for a while versus the newer ones saying, hey, these are all new problems. The other ones coming, we've dealt with that before. So it's just in Colorado saying, oh, we haven't faced this. Texas said, oh, you ain't seen nothing yet. But nevertheless, so it's really interesting to watch how that session goes each year with that facilitator. The Great Essay Reading Challenge has begun, thanks to the good person back there I pointed out last month too, Xenia. I do have one question that's been asked to me, if that's okay. For trustees to contact schools, should we give them that list that we have contacts for all the different schools? Trustees, whatever your preference is, we can provide that to you, and you can contact the schools if you want to read to the third graders?
We can help coordinate it.
Okay.
If we can just
work it
get the
through.
list and we'll send it
Okay.
out.
Okay.
Yeah, that's
Okay,
easy.
good. Okay.
Yeah, we'll
Okay.
coordinate it.
So trustees, get out there and continue reading, start reading, continue reading to those schools out there. Juvenile Justice Jeopardy, support to the Second Chance Academy. I know Valerie said, but Valerie was a big part of that. What was interesting about that, so we held a session, myself and a couple other community members. One I called from grassroots organizations, one from the Delta sorority, Valerie, and some others. But the fascinating thing about engaging with the Second Chance Academy and those students was reading the after reports. And they all took something different from the different individuals there. So it just shows you how important it is to have different perspectives. You never know how you're going to capture a kid. So the plan is to continue those. SAPD and others are now engaged and involved. So we're going to establish that as a regular pattern with the Second Chance Academy. Then the last one I had, so what's today? Is it Tuesday? I think you had trouble with that too, right? All right. So yesterday was my 76th visit location to a learning tree location. So I've done 76 learning trees, got 19 more to go. I'll be done, I think, sometime in November, et cetera. I can't tell you how many staff. I think we have 1,200 total, and the goal was to meet all. Is that right? About 1,200? Our goal is also to meet with all 1,200 of the staff and all the kids there and everything else. So it's been a very good learning experience, and it just shows how excited people are when we as somebody else goes out there per se. So it's been a lot of fun. And as a matter of fact, I've been going to so many now, I feel like it's a regular job because I'm just just going. So anyway, that's all I have, Dr. Rand. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Salcido?
Yeah, I just got something real quick. I was able to attend as a parent and as a trustee the Thriller Mill up at Gus Stadium. And oh my goodness, this is my second year, and it just gets better and better. It's starting to get very competitive. I think Ross Middle School showed up with their own band instead of using the music, so that was something different. I was like, okay, and I asked Elizabeth Sanchez Lopez, make it a competition or something because they do all that. Well, I mean, they had costumes. I mean, it was just a total. It was a food drive for the food bank, so people were bringing canned foods, but just the costumes. Some campuses just went all out with the amount of money they spend. Maybe do like a band festival competition because they did a parade. They marched in the field and I don't know, starting to get competitive. Maybe we should start giving some awards or something. You said you look into it, so all right. That's it. Thank you.
Thank you. And I would just like to thank all of you for everything you've attended. I think that it makes a difference when we're able to be there representing the board and showing every school that their hard work is noticed. I was able to speak at Stevenson's 50th anniversary, and thank you to Principal Galan for your thank you letter. Enjoyed watching, again, no parking, a full house, and the choir's performance and all the student groups. And the namesake son come and speak on behalf of our namesake at Stevenson. So that was amazing, the work that's being done at our school. I want to thank the Mexican American School Board Association again for coming out and recognizing the work that we do here at Northside. I want to thank the Alamo Colleges for throwing that dual credit conference, but I also want to encourage any teachers that would like to present at those conferences. You're able to present all the awesome work. So I know we always extend that invitation, but we have a lot of rock stars here at Northside. So the next one that's coming up, it's called EduTech. And that we are also accepting proposals for presentations on technology and tools you may use that would be effective in the classroom. So don't be afraid to build your resume and present at those local conferences that are being hosted to showcase local work and all of the work that's being done at all of our schools here in San Antonio. I do know that October is a tough month for educators. I remember we're burning out around right about now, so keep it up. We have a countdown to our next holiday, which is Thanksgiving. So stay positive. I don't know, I'm sending all of you virtual hugs. But I do want to thank you, Bobby, for saying that representation does matter. I agree wholeheartedly that when folks connect with us, whether they connect with David for what he's done or myself or anyone on this board, I think that makes a big difference. I also want to thank the local organizations that have invited me to attend their events. I was able to do the 5K Heart Walk for congenital heart disease and see a lot of Northsiders there. And babies to adults. So there are organizations here to support you as you're going through difficult times. I know you went to a 5K as well, David, and I was able to attend the Pan American League's event and the Chambers of Dina Luncheon representing Northside. So thank you all for continuing to include us because education does matter. And, we're being recognized for all the work that the teachers do and the students that are doing in the community. And I'm also getting requests like, can your student folklorico group present at Fiesta event? And so everyone's seeing the talents that we have at Northside, which is awesome. So keep it up. Thank you. Now we're going to our next agenda, which is the consent agenda.
Yes, Madam President. Most of these items, if not all, have been discussed in a committee meeting previously. Just as a reminder, if you would like to pull any individual single item for further discussion, we can absolutely do so. But I believe your board docs and/or on your agenda, you had the consent agenda for your consideration.
Do you have any motions to approve the consent agenda?
I had a question about the letter I, the teaching permit. Is that something that's usually on the consent agenda?
It is. In fact, we reviewed at the academic committee, but it's been our practice, yes, to bring those on the consent agenda at
Yeah,
each
'cause
regular meeting.
I was looking through it at the school district teaching permit, the application, and it shows 2 years of a work experience as a in the field, and then the other one, I guess.
Well, this
Yeah.
particular item is just for one individual.
Yes,
So
but I
it's-
was questioning the experience. One says 5, and then the other one says 2. So I'm not sure. There's 2 different.
Well, this
applications.
particular individual is a registered nurse. And so what school district teaching permits allow us to do is approve this permit so that they can teach a CTE course. And it is only applicable to CTE courses. It can't be any of core academic courses. And so typically, they'll be in areas such as health science. Sometimes we have some in cybersecurity. Many times it's individuals who have been in private industry or in the field. So if there's something you would like us to look further,
I was just wondering about the experience. That's 2 different. One says 5 and one says 2, and 2 different applications.
Oh, the years.
Yeah.
There's a discrepancy.
Yeah, yeah. I gave us this one here says 5.
are you?
Oh, he's looking at the TEA form.
Right here it says. That's what they're gonna submit, right? It shows. Yeah, 5.
Are you referring to the resume, sir?
Well,
No, he's looking at the criterion for on page
5.
5 of the TEA application, and the years listed for one applicant is 5 years, and it's different for another. Is that okay?
Yeah,
And you're
says-
looking at the attachment, so when
It
I
says two.
see the first attachment, it lists the applicant's name and then the 3 specific areas that we're asking for approval.
Mhm.
And then when I look at the second attachment,
Carla.
In the essay part, when describing the applicant,
In
it's
this-
saying they have 2 years, and on the application states they have 5 years. So we want to
okay.
clarify how many years.
Well, so we'll need to pull it and we'll need to dig into that specifics. And that's no problem. We can do that. And I know we talked about this at academics. It has been the practice because these come through fairly often to put them on consent. What we can do, I mean, we can pull it off consent if you want, or we can make sure it's always a standing agenda item. But yeah, we'll dig into see if there's any discrepancy.
Yeah, no, I mean, I'm just saying we're gonna send these forms to TEA, and
This
one
one's just
says
to
2, and one
correct any
says 5. You know, just-
misstatements.
You bet. You bet. Yes, sir.
Verify before.
Real quick, would that hold up this person having a position that
it
need someone right now in that position? So
Well,
I didn't understand David saying that it needs to hold up. He just wanted to make.
just make sure that the documents
Right.
are
So we're
in.
submitting
Correct.
You bet.
consistent information.
You bet.
Let's
Yeah,
pull
we
it
can.
in.
Mhm.
Okay.
You
right?
bet.
I mean, okay, all right.
Yes, please. Hi, we need nurses. We just need us to show the right information.
CTE.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you.
Awesome. Good catch, sir. You were an auditor in your past life? All right. So do we have any motions, having said that, to approve the consent agenda? Ms. Freeman?
I would motion to approve consent, but I also wanted to comment, if you don't mind,
Sure.
on items E, F, and G have to do with actually our aggressive debt management plan that we have in place. So we save the taxpayers millions of dollars with this, perhaps. I think I asked you last time, but I don't remember how much you said, how many millions that have been saved over the last.
And I do not have that with
years.
me, and I'm going to point to Michelle and Matt in the audience to see if they might know, phone a friend.
We could definitely get
Well, I think that's something that the public needs to, it's great
We can
for
get
us
it
to
for
talk
Friday.
about.
We can put it in Friday letter, so we can put that.
But I just wanted to comment on it because We've been doing this type of thing for several years regarding the remarketing, the refunding, and the balancing between variable rate and fixed rate
Right.
notes. And so I just appreciate all the work that's done on this, and I just didn't want to let this go and not comment on it. So thank you.
Well, thank you. We appreciate the board being proactive to try to save the taxpayers as much money as possible.
Well, if I'm not mistaken, I believe this last refunding series is about $80 million in savings, if I'm not mistaken, just this one alone.
So
So in the
something
aggregate-
that we need to broadcast.
Absolutely.
Yes, showcase is a great word. Thank you. So to back up, yes, I move approval of consent.
Dr. Hassel? All right. Motion carries and consent agenda is approved. And now, are we going to vote? All in favor? Say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, there we go.
You can run, Diana.
Let's see here. We have our next item.
Yeah, next agenda item,
Part 7, curriculum and instruction.
we were able to review our 25-26 turnaround plans in our last academic meeting just yesterday. We did go ahead and place it on the agenda. Again, we can briefly, quickly review just as we did with our academics meeting.
You bet.
But this item will need to come forward again in November for consideration of approval. Part of the process also requires us to open a public comment period. So we'll collect that data and comment, and then, like I say, you'll be seeing this even again for another review at the November 11th, or excuse me, November 11th, 12th, November 12th board meeting.
Yeah, December 9th, November 12th. Yes, sir. Thank you. So as we talked about yesterday, we know there are 4 campuses in Northside that are considered turnaround. The state released 3 years of accountability within a few months, and as a result, any district or any campus considered turnaround must create a detailed turnaround plan that's board adopted by November 21st. As Dr. Kraft said, what we're presenting tonight is really an overview of the components of the plan. Great news, it's already completely being implemented. Different plans at all 4 campuses. And we will be posting the plan for public input. And as Dr. Kraft mentioned, when we come in November, we'll open with a public hearing and let you guys know of any input that we've received and any changes we made to the plan as a result. And then we'll ask for your approval of those plans. So tonight, we'll present the Meade plan, which will show you the components that the Glass plan has, the Martin plan has, and the Neff plan has as well. So I would love to welcome to the podium Ms. Jessica Palomara. She's Assistant Superintendent for Elementary Administration. And I think Monica's going to do the clicker.
Yes, thank you so much. This evening, I'll do an overview of the turnaround plan for Meade. As Dr. Jordan indicated, this plan is commensurate with the other 3 campuses as well. As indicated per TEA, anytime we have a campus with an F rating 3 years in a row, we are required to develop and implement a turnaround plan. In the second year, we will continue that continuous improvement so that we can continue to drive that long-term success. Part of that plan requires a reading and math goal. As you know, with START, we have 3 passing rates at approaches, meets, and masters. But according to closing the domain 3 of closing the gaps, we're looking at 36% at the meets and masters level for reading and 31% at the meets and masters level for math. Each of the campuses, we have developed individualized reading and math goals as well. In our efforts to move towards resetting Meade Elementary at a C or better, we're looking at implementing a school improvement strategy of intensive curriculum and instruction improvements. Currently, we are in a co-teach model in which we're doing some curriculum compacting, specifically in grades 3 through 5, but also assisting grade levels K through 2nd grade with C&I. In this current year, we're looking to do a math adoption. Right now, we are in the planning stages and looking for recommendation for an adoption this year and an implementation for the math curriculum in the 26-27 school year. Also, next year, we'll look to adopt new reading curriculum, and that will be in the planning stages with implementation in the 27-28 school year. Part of the school improvement strategy, we look at other additional instructional support strategies, in particular to Mead Elementary. We work with our bilingual department around CBLI strategies for our English language learners. As I stated before, we're in a co-teach model to ensure that every classroom gets the very best high-quality instruction for Tier 1. Through that, we also provide targeted small group instruction, after-school tutorials for 2nd grade through 5th grade. And as Mr. Blunt indicated, through our Learning Tree program, many of our students stay after school. And so we're also implementing an intervention program for those students during Learning Tree so they can have access to technology. And finally, we're also looking at implementing a daily writing program across all content areas. In order to support this work and build capacity for the teachers there at Mead Elementary, we're doing weekly instructional walkthroughs so that we can provide feedback to them every week. We're aligning the data that we collect through those walkthroughs to develop professional development that's specific to the needs of the staff members at Mead Elementary. We have CNI as well there working hand in hand with us during PLC when we're looking at planning, curriculum compacting, and data to instruction. We're also working with Region 20 and a coaching model both for the supervisor, myself, the principal, and the teachers. We're good? All right. All right. The stakeholders involved in implementing this plan, of course, is campus administration, the staff, our parents and community members, various departments from central office to include administration, curriculum and instruction, continuous improvement, teaching and learning, human resources, budget and finance, and as well as our outside entities of Region 20 and TEA who have already made campus visits this fall. Part of the plan includes a performance management piece in which we monitor and adjust every week that we go out and working with Mead administration and our teachers. That included the coaching visits, the CNI support and PLC, the biweekly teacher walkthroughs. We're also going to include a monthly superintendent performance review. We will also bring a monthly review to the board to provide the updates that we get on the data that we collect week to week. And our next one will be in November, in which we will discuss the TEA visit and the Region 20 visit. They were able to do a diagnostic visit, and they actually observed us in our coaching model through our walkthrough process. They observed our teachers and PLCs, and so it was a wonderful visit, and we got a lot of good feedback. The turnaround plan timeline, as we had indicated, we're still looking to look for approval to move forward. But as you know, we need to implement the plan now. So in working with our TEA representative, Ms. Pamela Williams, she's worked with us and we've kind of got the green light to keep moving with our plan. During the year, we're gonna do interim checks to analyze our student performance data to make sure we're moving in the right direction. We will conduct a mid-year and end-of-year review with our community members. We're required to do a public community meeting prior to the approval of this plan. In conversations with our families, we indicated that we would do a mid-year meeting and end-of-year meeting, and we will also bring the data to our communities and to our families so they can see the ongoing improvements that we're making throughout the year. They were very excited about that as well. We're going to conduct an end-of-year needs assessment based on the progress we make this year to look at any adjustments we need to make for the following year in our implementation plan. The next area is resources, any additional resources that we're not currently using, but we need to ensure to be able to implement this plan. We've looked to utilize additional teachers in the classroom, both from the CNI department, the bilingual department, and from our academic specialists on campus. We're looking to provide teacher stipends to implement this turnaround plan. And we're also going to appoint an additional administrator for this year so that they can help us with operations of the work as we're looking to lean on our principal and AEP to do the instructional leadership. The content area support, as we had indicated from our high yield strategy of curriculum and instruction, we're also going to be working with Region 20 through the Strong Foundations Grant for our high quality adoption of our new math curriculum and our LIFT grant for our reading material adoption. We're also working with the bilingual department, in which we have already contracted services, in which we have a coach that comes out and works with our teachers on our CBLI strategies. And lastly, as I had indicated, we've already had our public community meeting with Meade Elementary. The feedback was very positive, and they're very supportive of the Meade implementation plan. And their biggest ask has been just to let us know what we can do to support you in this work, and what other additional interventions can you provide for us that we can do with our children at home. And so we will be working with our technology department to provide Chromebooks for our students at Meade Elementary so that they can engage on those online interventions at home, the weekends, and over the holidays. So that concludes our overview of the Meade Elementary turnaround plan. And as we've indicated, it's very similar to the other 3 campuses as well.
Just want to add also that our meeting yesterday was very thorough, and a lot of us were able to ask a lot of good questions. You're also going to be trying to, as with every campus, place very experienced teachers. Your LPAC coordinator is a very important part of this leadership team, is also a very experienced one. And I love that your parents are already ready to support, and that we're trying to provide all the resources that we can to make that campus successful, as with all of our campuses. So thank you.
No, I appreciate you as well. Another piece of the work is working with our human resources department to look and ensuring that we have the very best teachers at all our campuses. And so we're looking at a plan of work on how we can recruit and retain the very best. Thank you.
I think we have a few
I
more
just had a
questions.
question. What's the attendance rate at Meade?
Right now, we're sitting at 93%.
Is that one of those?
90, I'm sorry?
93%. Part of the monthly review that we will provide to you is student attendance, teacher attendance, disciplinary information, as well as the academic review. So Mr. Salcido will make sure that's always in our monthly review for you.
Okay, yeah, that'd be one of the things you can share with the parents. Bring their kids to school.
That's right.
That's what we need.
Mhm. Well, they love their school, and so they're showing up each and every day. So we appreciate that. Thank you.
And Mr. Blunt has one
You
more
trying to
comment.
run away? Oh, yeah.
He's trying to run away,
know,
girl. Stay there.
She said, if it's him, I'm leaving.
I didn't see the green light go on. So.
No, this is great. I think the turnaround plan and everything else, discussions yesterday and what you showed today is extremely great. So you can definitely have confidence with the board. At the board, what you all are doing from the superintendent yourself and the whole district. But the question I have, and I just thought about it, was does TEA have any advice or any lessons learned for boards, given the type of actions that they have taken across the state when boards have gotten to year 5? I know we're going to make it, but still, I was wondering if they have something to say, hey, this is how your board should be engaged. Yeah.
Dr. Kraft?
Yes,
Oh, they do?
they do.
Okay.
Would you like me to list just a few?
Yeah, it would be, yeah, interested to hear.
HQIM, which is high quality instructional materials, ADSE, which is an additional day, our extended school year, which we've implemented at 2 of our elementary campuses, Lone Star Governance, particularly for board and board training. Is that enough?
Yeah. No,
Okay.
no, that's good. Yeah. Anything else?
Yeah,
just
there's
let us know, but that's thanks.
Yeah, and
Good.
you know, I think that this year, obviously, a lot of hard work is being put in, and I appreciate, like I say, everyone's efforts. It's kind of interesting how this happened to be the fall that we had 3 accountability years dropped almost back to back simultaneously. And of course, we discussed this in academics that we monitor data, we map assess, we've looked at STAR data. Um, but unfortunately, in when you really look at the accountability system, um, while there is the claim that your highest impoverished, your campuses with the highest rates of impoverished students, serving impoverished students, um, attendance rates being higher, mobility rates being higher, have the opportunity to make an A. When you run a regression line across the state of Texas, this accountability system is overtly punitive to the campuses that have the greatest at-risk number of students. It's just very, very simple statistically. And so we're going to continue to work, particularly as the accountability system is modified, as we've explained to principals. I mean, we know that for the most part, this framework, while there's going to be tweaks and there's going to be updates, this is the accountability system for the next 2 years. And so we're going to work hard to ensure that our campuses, particularly those that need the assistance, need to have the opportunity to build capacity, particularly with teachers that are less experienced, through instructional coaches or provided those professional development support opportunities. But it's going to be a lot of hard work. And like I say, this particular accountability system favors more affluent, less diverse, higher educated families, and the students that they serve. And that's just the reality. That's just the fact. And I can say that with full confidence.
Thank you. Dr. Harrell?
Thanks, Jessica. It's good hearing it again. And I was just going to add one of the neat things she said, TEA said, David, yesterday was when you took a tour, the TEA person said that there's truly a culture of learning there, which that's great. I reflect slowly. So I was thinking about something Laura had said yesterday too about, they really, the plan is chocked full of all kinds of strategies, activities, and programs and practices. I'm hoping that there's time, that there's celebration and play. And I know that's not ever listed as a strategy, but being outdoors, playing, all that is still real important. And I don't think it's devoid of that. We just heard all the stuff that's going to go on, but I'm hoping. And so the other thing I'm hoping is that just like you were saying, it is a school in need, that the invitations will come and we'll be out there. We'll do some focused time and attention with Mead as well. And I know years ago I went to Wurzbach Manor, where there's 5 or 6 different nationalities of immigrant families that live there, and they all get along. And all the older kids, no matter if they're from Africa or the Middle East or India, are all holding hands, taking care of each other's kids, which is really neat. But they had a mobile library that they had gotten in a grant, and I'll reach out to you just to see. There's someone who would like to fund something like that, and I didn't know if they still did it. I know we put a little free library up.
Yes.
But they
We
also
did.
had a mobile library that went to the community. They were taking books to, instead of, us just going and reading at schools, bringing the school to the community. So
That's great. We are looking at embarking a program like that, as we had indicated yesterday, during the holidays and in the weekends. And so we can look at how we can incorporate some of that. I know yesterday you also asked, how can the board be more involved? In the forward-facing document that we're going to put on our website here in a couple of weeks, it indicates our month-by-month milestones and metrics, and there's always a time for celebration around the work. And so invitations will be forthcoming so that you can come out and help to support the turnaround plan as well.
thanks,
Okay.
appreciate it.
Thank you so much.
Thanks, Jessica.
And like I say, you'll be seeing this agenda item again once we have the public comment attained and we'll bring it back in November for your consideration.
All right. Now, our next item, we have facilities and operations.
Yeah, I believe our first item is our guaranteed maximum price for Tom C. Clark High School, and particularly the auditorium, and really major overhaul associated. So, Jacob?
That is correct. Madam President, members of the board, thank you for your time this evening. The first item that facilities would like to present is item A, which is the guaranteed maximum price for the fine arts replacement at Tom C. Clark High School. This is part of the 22 bond program. As you may recall, we did bring a construction manager at risk, which Bartley Koch was the general contractor selected for that, and they're here present today. I have Mr. James Caraway, Scott Temple, and Mr. Brandon Bates. Did I miss anybody else? Okay, and then our architect of record that's helping us through this process is Alamo Architects, which is Jerry Lammers and Lindsay Opel, and Glenn. Don't want to forget Glenn, that are here today to help us answer any questions that you guys may have. So these bids, what they do as a construction manager at risk, as you are aware, they come on board early so they can be part of the design and help us really refine the phasing and how we're going to get this project done. So they're actively playing a role through pre-construction services to make sure that we are doing a constructible project that is not going to truly impact the campus, and it's going to have minimal disruption to the instructional time. And so with this, the bids were received by the construction manager at risk on September 23rd, 2025. That information was presented to the district facility staff as well as the consultant team and reviewed to make sure that we didn't have scope gap or scope creep. And the number that we settled on, which also includes alternates, and I'll speak to those here in a second, was $68,219,494. Now, that includes a base bid, which is the actual fine arts building itself, which will be added onto the existing campus. The existing auditorium will remain in place so that the students still have an opportunity to perform and house events out of that facility, and will actually be added to the left side of the campus. The base bid for that is just shy of 65 million, but we did want to incorporate two alternates that we think are critical to the success of this project, but also the continuation of that school, which have to do with the replacement of the chillers, which are the main pieces of equipment that provide the cooling at the campus. 2 out of the 3 are in somewhat of disrepair and are limping along, so we want to get that addressed, especially since we're adding some additional square footage to that campus. And then the other one is the replacement of the main switchboard, which is the hub of all the electrical. So if that goes down, we have an issue that that main switchboard is becoming obsolete. Parts are difficult to come by, breakers are difficult to come by. And so this is a good opportunity to take advantage of shutting down the entire campus and replacing that main switchboard. And so with that, obviously this team is looking, that cost did come in higher than what we anticipated, as did most of these projects in the 22 bond. And so we're actively working through value engineering exercises to try and bring that cost down, to also incorporate just looking at programmatic items that we have in there, such as orchestra pits and some of these things that are nice to haves, but are they really necessary for the program? So we'll work with Ms. Sanchez Lopez to try and figure out some of those strategies, as well as looking at just the billing systems themselves to determine how we can drive that cost down closer to what we want, or closer to our budget. So with that, I'll field any questions. If I can't answer them, I will defer them to our consultant team and our contracting team if there's any specific questions on construction costs. And again, this was an item that was brought to building committee earlier this month and was discussed at that meeting as well.
I think we're good. Okay. No questions?
So we take a motion on this as approval?
All right, so do we have a motion to approve the fine arts replacement?
So moved. Oh, I'm sorry, David. Were you gonna hit your
Yeah, I'll make a motion that we approve the GMP for fine arts replacement for Tom C. Clark as read.
Ms. Zapata?
I'll second.
All right, and all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, motion passes. Okay.
All right, thank you. Well, the next item that I have is item 8B, and this is the schematic design for the cafeteria, kitchen, and athletic replacement at Oliver Wendell Homes. This too was a large project out of our 22 bond program. And it is a practice that we bring the schematic design before the board in collaboration with our consultant as well as our construction manager at risk. So our consultant of record for this is Huckabee Architects. I do have Casey Anuzio and Scotty Denny, who Scotty's passing out some handouts for you guys that will be doing the presentation. But then I also have Bartley Cock, who same individuals that I introduced earlier are here because they're the construction manager at risk on this project, and again are helping us through the schematic design and ultimately developing the construction documents. So with that, I will turn it over to Mr. Denny.
Thank you very much for allowing us to show you this project. We're very excited. We've been working very hard on it. We are always looking for efficiencies. We're always looking to tighten things. We'll be keeping our eye on the budget as we move forward. But I'm just really happy to be here, and Scotty's going to walk you through the floor plans.
Thank you for having us here tonight. Working on Holmes High School, showing where it's located here with the location map. Most of you are familiar with this, located on 410 Loop and Ingram Road. Just to give you some context for the site. The next slide we'll go to shows some existing photos. As we work through the design, we want to make sure that the new design fits within the campus. It takes its cues from the building materials. So you'll look at the materials, the colors that you see, also some of the forms on site, those signature round buildings and the spires that we see there, incorporating those elements in the future design, trying to make the new design fit within the existing campus in a very efficient manner. On the next slide, you'll see the floor plan. So this building is directly below the existing administration building. If I go from left to right, what you'll see is in the green space is our new dining area with the cafeteria. You've got your dining space, you've got your kitchen area. Our service is directly south of that, and so you're seeing a little bit of a green outline on the south side of the building. That's where we've got our service, access for our weight rooms and our other athletic spaces. As I start to make my way to the right, we have our two new gymnasiums. We have our weight room in the center. Above the gymnasiums is where we have our community resource room, which has access to that parent drop-off loop on the north. And then as we continue to make our way to the right, we have our training room, and then we have our locker rooms on the right-hand side. And so what you may see within the plan is it's very efficient, very compact. We're working from the program with Sotomayor as a guide throughout this entire design process. So a lot of the spaces that you'll see at that high school, you're seeing those here as well. And then there's small indications really at the entry of the dining space, and then also the lobby space into the athletic area where you start to see those round elements start to get incorporated. And so we've tried to do that minimally, but at those high impact areas. You'll see that a little bit more as we get to the 3D images.
So I'm trying to figure out how this actually, I'm looking at it, how it fits and where the old cafeteria. So in that spot right there, where is the current cafeteria?
So basically where we have the green is where the old cafeteria was as well. And you're starting to kind of see the, oh, thank you, perfect.
So we'll point at this display over here so you guys can see it.
Thank you.
So right here, you're seeing a little bit of the indication of the existing circular elements. We do have a canopy that's also mimicking that roundness. But then here is where our current cafeteria is. And then right in the middle, there's an existing gymnasium. So with this design, we were able to take that secondary gym and move that so that it's directly adjacent to the athletics, and then maximize your dining and cafeteria space.
So for those that, unfortunately I missed the last building committee meeting, but this design has changed over time for a lot of reasons. And so I appreciate you coming up with this. I'm looking forward to the rest of your presentation because it took a long time to get to this.
It did, yes. There were a lot of different iterations that we went through, and really the big thing through this whole process was to make it as efficient as we could, as cost effective, but we also wanted to provide all the program spaces that you have in the other schools as well, so you have that one-to-one.
There was a lot of conversation about we had an area where, and I don't remember what it was used for, but parents would come in. What was that area that
So it's-
parents had access to?
It's basically a community room that's currently
Okay.
located roughly about this spot here. And so within the new design, we've located that not too far away, and then we have direct access to that same exterior drop-off area. So that can still function at similar capacity.
Okay. And I know you said you used Sotomayor as a template or thinking about it. Is that what you just said?
Yes, ma'am, that was our program for this school.
Okay, so this cafeteria seats how many as opposed to where it was, and then what our newest high school, Sotomayor, what is the capacity of that?
So I don't have the number offhand, but it's
Okay.
basically a one for what you have at Sotomayor. You can fit within the context here. So in terms of the footprint that we have for this cafeteria is very closely matching what they have at Sotomayor. There's a few differences in terms of this round element and some other site constraints that have adjusted that, but it's basically the same capacity.
And in that round element, no, it doesn't show it here, but you'll have seating and it'll be,
Yeah, a lot of the furniture we're showing here is really placeholders.
Okay,
We're going to
thank
work
you.
with the district
Okay.
board to come up
All right.
with the exact placement and configuration of those.
Yeah, Ms. Freeman, I'll go ahead and add that one of the changes that we did make, and this was in conversation with Child Nutrition, is there are actually 4 serving lines, which I believe we have more serving lines at Sotomayor. And that's just based on the number of meals they're selling, the number of the students that are actually eating in that dining space. So we tried to be efficient and reduce that, but not impact the dining space, because we know that it's still a gathering space if they're bringing lunches and whatnot. The other thing that became important with the campus is that we wanted to make sure that we didn't impact the current courtyard that they have out there, which is just outside the footprint of the cafeteria. And so that is not being impacted by this project and will be preserved, and there'll be opportunities for possibly additional courtyard space as we develop the plans based on conversations we had.
There's so many cool spaces
Oh, yeah.
to like just hang out, like around campus. So that's nice. Thank you.
We also had a conversation though one time about the, we're gonna be able to wash we had the galley or the sink area and the ability to, the plates. We were thinking about using a different method of serving on the plates. What did we decide?
So right now, they are doing disposable, however, we are keeping the scullery in the event that that were to change. And so that is stayed in the program. We talked about taking it out to, again, build efficiencies.
Right.
But as the design and the discussion involved, we decided to keep it for now. And that could be used for multiple purposes, but it'll be outfitted to accommodate a scullery down the road.
At a standard, the standard size that we have now. We didn't compromise on the size of that.
Correct, yeah, that's pretty much matching.
Okay,
And
thank you.
Megan, I think you can answer this question, but as Thomas Weary does the cost analysis of the biodegradable disposable trays, I mean, it's a cost-saving measure to use biodegradable versus washing trays and flatware.
Correct.
I agree. Mr. Blunt?
Yeah, just a small detail question. The lower part where the gyms are, that's where those are player benches, et cetera, where they're seating at? Keep going up. Yeah, on both sides. Oh, no, go down. That's the stage, all on one side. Yeah, that part, right. That represents that? I'm trying to figure out how much space you got.
Yeah, so this is basically just representing the wall construction there.
Oh, that's a wall
With
construction.
our structure, we also have the CME or concrete masonry units that are basically flushing out
Right,
that
okay.
wall so that you have a flat surface all along that south side.
Okay. But then the players are seating.
And then all of our seating in the competition or main gym is on this north side.
Oh, even for the players?
Well, Bobby, I think the court, correct me if I'm wrong, is outlined in the black, and so then you have your sideline space. I think you're asking what is the apron up and down both sidelines?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's,
So that's just a clear space.
Okay.
If you've been to our gymnasiums, like Park or any of these other ones, they actually have a border like that that's identified as clear space. So player benches would be out of that area.
Okay, good.
And it would be situated.
Okay, thank you.
Ms. Zapata?
I have a couple of questions here. Just curious, have the coaches had input on this? The coordinators there on campus?
Absolutely. They've been part of these schematic design reviews along with campus administration and any departments.
Oh, maybe not anymore.
Okay.
Child nutrition, athletics from the athletic office as well as the actual
Um,
Every time we meet with them, we get great feedback and incorporate that into the plan. And when we come back, they can see that we incorporated their thoughts and some of the preferences they have had and some of their great comments. So every time we meet with them, it gets better.
Okay. And so I'm noticing here, like on the gyms, so each side has two gyms, one full size, but two. Is there like a curtain or something in the middle that kind of separates?
So we're
on the
trying to
one side?
show the different line work for all the different activities that can go on in the gyms. That's probably why it looks
Oh, okay.
a little bit messy. So you've got volleyball, you've got basketball. The big divider, so these gyms are basically open. There's not really a divider curtain in this gym.
Okay.
You do have a separation that is between the two gyms, and then we have operable doors that can open up. Some of the feedback we got from the coaches where they like to run track, including both gyms, they can open those doors and utilize that.
Nice. And then like with the bleachers, and I don't know if this is what Bobby was getting to, but I'm just saying, when you have one set of bleachers and you have two teams there, it kind of gets rough. So I don't know if that's a consideration to kind of think about.
Where would they put the other
Well,
ones?
a couple of things. Varsity games are played
Correct.
as run or
At
the
the state
sports
at the
gym and
sports gyms. But I'm saying I've seen some sub-varsity games and you have fans on the same side, and it's something to ask the coaches if it's not something that I guess hasn't been an issue, but I know I've seen it, and it's tough when you have all the fans on one side.
We've
Some
had
of
the
these
same
sub-varsity
team,
games, we get some good games, get some good competition, and we got parents that get heated. Also, my next question is I think driving, I guess I want to see the view, what it's going to look like off the highway, because I think personally, like, Holmes is just a perfect place for us to showcase our beautiful school, and thousands of people pass that area every day. And so I think it's important, like, one of the views, what's it going to look like off the highway? I see this view here and it looks great, and it looks like it's like at an angle, but I just wondered if you could maybe share with us, like, what is it going to look off the highway? Yeah.
And I was just driving down 410 and thinking the same thing a couple weeks ago when I left the meeting, that it's a very prominent,
Very, very, very prominent school.
elevation and
Lots of tradition, and just anytime we have an opportunity, I think when, like, again, we get thousands of people, hundreds and thousands of people that pass through 410. That's it's important that we make sure that to me we're recruiting, we're showing off our our best assets. So I just want to make sure that when people drive by, it's really nice, and something to.
This whole design is paying homage to what Holmes looks like. Obviously, we took opportunity with that auditorium project, the fly loft, to really showcase the name, lit it up so you could see it from 410 day or night. And so we have definitely taken opportunities to do that. This will kind of sit a little bit further back in the campus, but they're still through the spires and so forth. We're obviously identifying prominent entrances and kind of matching the architecture that we have there in the admin building.
Maybe like lighting on the sign. Because I was like, my neighbor put lighting on his house and it looks like 5 times bigger. And I'm like, what? I need that.
it's very powerful.
Yes.
We're working with our electrical engineer and our lighting designer.
On the name and
Highlighting the building in the right
Very good. And Dr. Hassel?
My questions are on that actually. So, how does that affect check-in? So, from check-in there to get to the community center, where can you?
So currently, this is our drop-off area. There's that main administration area, and then our check-in is directly inside of that building. We're still working through what that looks like in terms of the security, is
Yeah.
the fencing and access, does that occur outside the fencing? And so we're working with the team to establish that.
Okay.
That'll be campus as they determine how they want to migrate them, because they have the option to take them through the administrative building where they're behind a secure perimeter after they're vetted and escorted that route. Or depending on where we put the fencing, they may have direct access, and then somebody from the community center coming out to engage them and open that door, because there's a lock at all times.
Where is the community center in that picture?
It's kind of tough.
Difficult to see, but it's basically this is that corridor wall, and then directly behind that is where that community center.
So kind of where it is right now.
It's pretty close.
Okay, I'm like kind of where it is right now. So still center, still not like over. It's just they're gonna decide kind of entrance wise. Okay, just wanted to make sure. I was like, where like is it? Okay, thank you.
Mr. Sancido?
Yeah, I had a quick question on page 4 at the end. Go back to 4. Page 4. Well, they're over there by the end where I guess the exit is by the toilets, I guess. Is that they have access to on this side.
Football?
The other side. Football, yeah. there you go.
Football.
Yeah, those are the exterior restrooms so that the football visitors and so forth have access without getting into the actual. Very similar to what we do the soda mall.
Yeah, so, but I see on one of the corridors, you have double doors on the top one and not on the bottom one. Is that right?
Oh, yeah. So we're between the storage and the JV football
Yeah,
locker
you got a
room?
double door there, but you don't have one on the other one.
So one side is the changing room, so the double doors are there, so you never have clear sight when that door is open, so they're offset, they're staggered. So both sides, the outer corridors are both set up that way, because that's where the locker room, changing rooms are. That center corridor is just kind of a way to migrate, so you can go with one way or another, depending on coaches or however they're monitoring that space. So one is more just for traversing, where the other ones are closer to changing rooms.
Oh, good.
Yeah, and in most cases, these are obviously going to be monitored or locked. So that they're
Awesome. Thank you. Mrs. Freeman?
Yes, the weight room. So I thought that we had a boys and a girls weight room in our other schools. I see one. Tell me how that works.
So at Sotomayor, basically they have the same square footage that we have here. So it's basically one is 2,500 square feet and one's 1,500, and then they've got a separator. They had requested in this one to take that out and so make it one large weight room. That was more of a campus decision, something that we can work through, but if needed, we still have the square footage if we need to add that back.
Didn't we have that at O'Connor, Dr. Harrell, back up in the day? And I thought we split it because it didn't work out or something. Dr. Kraft, let's just look at that carefully with our other schools. I
let us-
understand the campus,
Yeah.
the campus will to do that as long as they have experience with the challenge of combining
Yeah,
those.
we'll take a look at how they're organized right now. I don't know if they're using two separate weight rooms or if they're sharing the one big one.
So they have a unique case where they actually took over some classrooms and have a weight room.
Oh, that's right.
Weight room and other, so it's naturally separated right now because they didn't have the square footage before. And so we're actually repurposing that as kind of their team room, which is that area in blue down below in that existing building. But the request came from the not only the campus athletic director, but obviously athletics was there as part of that conversation. And what they said is by putting that partition there, it eliminates some of their floor space for their equipment. And so this allows them maximum flexibility for their equipment, but we could certainly revisit.
Yeah, I think to Ms. Freeman's point though, personnel changes, and so is there a way to create a flexible partition where it can be open, or
That's a great idea.
we can divide it?
Absolutely.
And
also just the way stations are set up and the way the equipment's laid out, sometimes you can create a separation that way. So there's a lot of smaller decisions, that get made with some of the bigger spaces that we've shown that we'll continue to have those conversations and keep working on that plan and making it better.
And they can rotate if they need to. Our
So
machines.
I will speak to, this is not your typical schematic design because there was so much effort, as Ms. Freeman alluded to. Originally, this schematic design was a renovation of the existing cafeteria with the athletics we added on. And there wasn't the savings that we expected with that, so that's why we pivoted and went to a whole new replacement so that we get a new building that's gonna hopefully give us 50+ years. And it will come at a higher cost, but not that much higher than a renovation of a already 60-year-old building. And so this has got a lot more information than our typical schematic design is because of that amount of conversation that happened to get to this point. So that is gonna continue to develop as we go into construction documents after this is approved.
I think also the fact that you're modeling after one of a newer school, so the equity issue is not an issue. It's trying to be consistent with what's being offered at the other schools, but considering the opinion of the locals, that's hard, right? And then us. So thank you. Anybody else?
He said page 5. No, he's he's looking like.
So we'll finish
Are you
with
done?
a couple renderings just so you guys can see what this building will potentially look like as it's completed.
Oh, I'm sorry, Ms.
I guess just
Plata.
going back again, you know, we're gonna do it. Let's do it right. I'm a firm believer. Like let's not, you know, let's get the people at the table that are gonna be using those facilities. Let's get that volleyball coach in there. Like I want her input. You know, let's get the basketball coaches in there. You know, let's not just get, you know, one perspective because so many people are gonna be using that facility, and when you bring other people to the table, they can help come up with, you know what, we have this issue. What, you know, let's make sure that we, you know, put things where they need to be. That's going to be best for them, you know, and not because we're just following a plan. I've seen that happen before, and not all plans work the same way for each campus. So it's just really important that we talk to, you know, all the stakeholders that are going to be in that facility. We're talking about the gym and the weight room and all of that.
And this one is completely, absolutely, 100% agree, Ms. Zapata. This one, to Jacob's point, though, it actually goes back a little bit further even than 2 iterations. We started with a completely raised, renovated, then we went to a renovation, and then we went back to complete raise and new. So there's been several iterations that we've looked at. To that point, looking at the cost differential at the time, we made the decision to go back to brand new. It was just that. It was about a $4 million delta projected at that time, and it just didn't make sense to not just go in and just build new. So we've, like I say, spent a year and a half looking at different options. Per your approval of the schematic design, then the details get ironed out of exactly where do you want the closet, you know, where is the equipment, is it hung? I mean, all of those finer details. And so we feel like that, like I say, a lot of those conversations have transpired when they get into construction documents. CD, obviously it'll be a much more even refined conversation with the campus.
Yeah, and I'll add that along all those reiterations, the campus was completely involved in all those. They had to come along with us on all those additional meetings, but they've been engaged and actively in the discussion.
And that's your standard operating procedures for all renovations. Very good. So, do we have any motions for the schematic design? That was just a discussion. We are not motioning on anything. Okay, it says action approval.
Yeah, this is for your consideration this evening.
We can move to the next step, which is
It's the next one, I think. It's just the discussion. So do we have any motions from the board? Dr. Haro.
Okay. I move that we approve the schematic as presented.
All right. Dr. Salcido seconds it. And all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, the motion passes. Thank you and congratulations.
Thank you very much.
All right. So the last item that I have here for you today is 8C, which is the subject is the Citizens Bond Committee, as well as the Citizens Bond Advisory Committee. So these are two committees, and wanted to speak to that obviously on the heels of a potential bond in 2020, November 2026, along with the Vader. We wanted to kind of rehash this because I know we have several new board members and I know there's been conversation about that. And so I wanted to hit on both of those items, just kind of talk about the membership, how we develop that membership, and then open to any questions that you may have related to those. So the CBC, or the Citizens Bond Committee, is a group that's developed in preparation for a bond election. Their responsibilities are considering current and future district needs and developing a proposed bond package for consideration for you, the Board of Trustees. So membership in this case is a very large group. Membership in this case is usually 2 representatives from each Northside campus submitted by the school principal. The city and county elected officials are usually invited to that as well. Community representatives are submitted by each of you trustees. Community representatives are invited by districts representing major HOAs, community groups, or civic organizations. Northside High School students are submitted by each campus as well, so we get student participation in this group. And then we have district employees from several campuses and departments that are part of this, as well as cabinet members. So it's a pretty healthy group. Usually about 300 invites roughly go out. We don't always get responses and RSVPs from everybody attending, but usually there's a couple hundred that are part of that. It's typically 6 sessions that are led by 2 committee members. Those subgroups are then created to formulate their priorities, and then they share that with the larger group. And then ultimately those citizens leads gather the data and meet with district staff to develop the summary for the board for consideration. And finally, those leads then present the final proposal and recommendations to the board, which then that's when we call for the election and move forward. And so that is the Citizens Bond Committee. Again, that's usually tied to a new bond proposition that we're going to be going after. And so I'll pause there to see if there's any questions you may have, or if Dr. Kraft would like to add anything to that.
Yeah, I mean, just the only addition I'll provide is, again, if we're looking at a November 3rd, 2026 bond and/or voter-approved tax gratification election, I'd encourage trustees to kind of start thinking about community members' nominations that you'd like to provide, because this spring semester is right around the corner, and we'll be requesting those names, particularly to assemble the CBC. And then we'll talk about the CBAC, which I know came up in a building committee, that is really a result of it's the after effect, if you will, of the bond. That is more of the advisory, accountability, monitoring piece to the CBC. So our CBAC, which you, I believe, have a copy of the membership, in most cases are going to be members that were also a part of the CBC and/or they chaired the CBC process. And Jacob, I'll let you articulate a little bit further.
So just as Dr. Kraft mentioned, the next committee that is formed after a bond does pass is the CBAC, which is the Citizens Bond Advisory Committee. This is a committee that's developed for every single bond. So we currently have a 22 bond Citizens Bond Advisory Committee. These committees date back to the 90s, is what the history that we could get back from bonds that were passed in the 90s. Membership is a little bit different, a little smaller group, but they're usually appointed through trustees or the superintendent nominations. Some of them are CBC members, so it's kind of a carryover, so they understand the development of the proposition, and then they help see it through to make sure we're meeting the intent. Any vacancies can be filled by additional nominations by Board of Trustees or Superintendent. And in some cases, we'll reach out to principals for active community members in their geographical area, typically middle schools or high schools, that impact a bigger feeder route. And so, and then these committee, then we'll look, the last group we'll look at is any active members in the previous CBAC that were active participants and had good attendance, and we'll try and fill vacancies that way as well.
Dr. Salcido has a question.
Sure.
I mean, Mr. Salcido, perdón.
Just had what's the size of the group? How many?
It's about 35 that are actively on there. Any given time, I mean, we may have 20 to 25.
We've met already this year. We're looking to meet again. I would say on average 22 to 25.
Consistent ones.
It just kind of depends on, well, one, the location, because like, for example, this last meeting we met at ASTA. I think we started at 6. It kind of depends on traffic flow and, individuals' ability to be able to get there. So I would say pretty safely 20 are in attendance at each meeting. No. Usually we meet twice a year. This particular year, we're going to meet 3 times, just with the volume of projects from the 22 bond that we have in the works.
And they're similar to like these presentations. I've been on the bond committee for several and chaired one for another district, and they're just the schematics and then decisions.
No,
Not this.
Not this group. That's more like building committee. The
okay.
CBAC, what we do is we go over any information, legislative updates. Dr. Kraft usually has a segment where he speaks of what's going on in the government. And then usually it's a status update on every single project that we have. So it resembles the building committee report, Mr. Salcido and Ms. Freeman, that you guys are very familiar with. And we share that similar information on where we're at with those projects and what's coming down the pipeline as far as projects in design, any that are in construction, where they're at. And then once they are completed, from a construction standpoint, they come off the list and we continue to populate that as we go year.
They don't get input.
No, they give input. It's an oversight committee, and they have some really tough questions.
I feel like
good
this
questions.
is similar to showing them what's
Yeah.
being done.
So, for example, why is Clark taking so long to get a GMP? And it's those kind of conversations, or why are we going back to the drawing board with the Holmes athletic renovation / addition? It's those. So we're looking at reviewing projects that the community has approved through, like I say, not only the 22 bond, but also the 2018 bond, finishing up those projects. And so it's really more, for lack of better terms, it's an accountability system for Jacob and his team.
Checks and balances. Yeah.
Yes, ma'am. And so, to answer your question, they're not part of schematic designs or anything like that, but they really can ask questions as to, hey, I know there was a project at Warren High School. What's the status of that project? When is that going to start? Because we want to arm them with information so they can go back to their community, because they become points of contact for their community if they need to have updates presented to them.
So, like, SCISD does an amazing job. You know her. And she does talk about like cost savings features at her citizen bonds committees, because we're able to save us money this way. And I think those are really important things to share, because they have had to change because of the cost of construction prior approved things, as we all have. But then they talk about what is the alternative and why that's even a better cost-effective method of doing that. So I'm sure those type of things.
Some of those discussions will come up. We do share kind of what we call the over and under. So this is what the projects were budgeted at. This is what they're coming in at. And this is where we stand on the bottom line as it stands today, based on bids we received, plus the projected bids based on whatever the budgets were established. So there is financial conversation that happens there.
Do they get to go visit the schools once the projects are done also?
So we actually try and host those at finished projects. So ASTA was finished and it wasn't done the last time we met with them. So we actually hosted the meeting there at ASTA and then toured the facility. And our goal, based on the request for a meeting here in December, is to go meet at Colonies North next. And again, go to a finished facility so they can see the fruits of our labor.
Well, let us know so we can also be invited to those. Are fun.
Sure.
Thank you.
So I'll close with the CBAC as Dr. Kraft mentioned, they typically meet twice annually, but at the request of either the superintendent or the chairs, we can meet additional meetings as needed. And their main duties are to receive status reports on bond projects. They determine if the status is consistent with the program approved by the voters, and then they advise on the status of the bond program. They also may provide recommendations to the superintendent and the board on modifications to that program. So speaking to what you were alluding to, Dr. Dudon, they do have that capability, but oftentimes it's an information dump, and they have access to that information at their fingertips should they want to refer to it after that meeting's complete.
Thank you.
So
Mr. Blond has a question.
Sure.
No, just kind of think you summarized it, but again, the other point that you were making was the reason why we needed this committee was seen as so important. It was sort of the continuity of making sure the community had input and information. You start out with the System Bonds Advisory Committee, you go out for voters, you go to the board approves, the voters approve, et cetera, but it's saying, okay, we didn't want to say, okay, community, that's the end for you per se.
We're done.
So that's where
Right. Yeah.
this committee comes in and say, oh no, we're going to continue to help and monitor, et cetera. So that's why it's always been there.
And it is very helpful to have their voice, have their questions, because in large part, I mean, they are a representation of the community at large, and so we want that level of transparency, and for them to be able to go back into their individual communities and explain, no, your dollars and those projects that you approved are coming online and coming to fruition and being well managed.
I'd love to get more, to your all's point, more promotion about these projects as they're concluded, because it is accountability and showing the community that we're doing an amazing job in these buildings, like John Jay when we visited. I mean, it's so impressive, but not everyone can make it to those locations. Sure. So I hate to put more work on you, but like a video moment or something. But also, to your point, the bond committee I was on was 2020. I'm like, why am I still getting invited to these things? It's because it's till that bond is done, that committee can still show up to see the fruition of the work. Absolutely. And the accountability to the community. So until everything's done, like, what's the longest bond you had? Like,
you got to think about it from a scale standpoint. 2022 was almost, I mean, it was just shy of $1 billion worth of projects. Right. Now, the cost driving aspect is really our biggest challenge, and just bandwidth to be able to manage that many projects with contractors, et cetera. But I mean, this was a
big one.
This was a big bond.
You still have a lot left on that bond to do.
We've got enough.
We got a good year's worth, and they're all pretty large projects. So, for example, this homes project will probably take us to 2028 to complete. So even though it was a 4-year bond program, with the construction and how long it takes to get that project done after we finish design, I mean, construction probably won't be completed till the summer.
Like a census. Okay. Yeah. All right. Thank you, sir.
I got one more.
Mr. Salcido.
Who decides what goes on the 26 bond?
Yeah, so that's a great question. We're in the process right now of assessing, analyzing what we assess as needs. So a lot of life cycle replacement, a lot of renovation work. We'll again establish, with your assistance, the CBC. We'll develop a list of recommended projects that bring back to the board for your consideration. You'll take action on here is what we're in agreement of proposing to be considered by the community. Per your action, then we'll start having meetings. We'll obviously visit with departments, with campuses. We'll visit every campus, homeowners associations, civic community groups, to ensure they know what is being proposed. And so that's really the process leading up to, like I say, November 3rd of 26.
Yeah, we start with a
lot of work,
big wish list, and we price that wish list off, and then it starts.
Well, and in combination with a voter-approved tax ratification election, taking advantage of the 3 golden pennies, we recognize that we may have to really look at what are high priority needs with this 26 bond package, knowing that equally as important is sustained revenue, which really will come in the form of, like I say, maintenance and operation taxes, i.e., the consideration of the Vader. It's a little bit different this round.
Ms. Freeman?
Yes, I know one thing that's helped over the years is as a trustee, we're able to attend the CBC meetings. We don't participate because we have that option to participate certainly here at the dais, but it does help to hear the conversations of the various subcommittees that were developed there. And then as the subcommittees report out, it's helpful to hear that discussion and the presentations. And then during that whole time, the board gets information as well. So it's a lot of material, but the process has served us well.
It'll be a busy spring and early fall.
For this item. Thank you, Jacob.
Thanks, Jacob.
You're very welcome.
And our next item.
Well, and like I say, if you'll just be kind of thinking about nominations, because it will be upon us before we know it.
So community, if you want to be on a citizens bond committee, let us know. Superintendent.
Yes, ma'am. We wanted to bring forward the Board of Trustees future teacher scholarships. Last year, well, let me back up. As a result of the HEB Excellence in Education Award, and in essence, the funds that were received, which I believe was $25,000, were established to create, in essence, an endowment to award future educators that wanted to become teachers a scholarship. Last year, I believe the board awarded 2 students. So this year, you have the opportunity, if you so choose, to go through the nomination process, select however many students you feel like we can afford through the endowment. And so we would really just wanted to talk about who would like to, in essence, serve on a small committee, review the applications, the application process itself, and really just kind of talk through the logistics, how we wanted to proceed. One of the other items, I know Ms. Freeman, believe you were awarded $1,000. The board was awarded another $1,000, and so does the board want to see that? And we can take action in the future, but that invested in this particular scholarship fund or another avenue. So, like I say, this is a really an open-ended conversation at this point.
I think last year, Mrs. Freeman, did you want to say something?
Yeah, I was just going to say for our new board members, so when the board was awarded the Excellence in Education Award, we were given the $25,000. It was the board that made the decision to set up the scholarship fund. There was really nothing tied to that check that we got from HEB that the board earned from that, but it was a decision of the board to go ahead and award scholarships.
Teaching scholarships. I think we all rated all
Right.
of the scholarships as
Right.
a board. Dr. Harrell?
I like the idea of your first suggestion or your first thought about the committee. Maybe, I know it was, I'm just going to say it like that. I think that would, to kind of fine tune and get it into writing and get the level of specificity so we're not kind of revisiting this each year, and then it'll be a standard practice or a standard way of looking at it. And it can be shared with the board, something like that.
Well, and we can go through a screening process, but what I was suggesting is maybe you establish a small committee of board members.
No, that's what I meant.
It's already
Okay.
okay.
Not senior staff?
Sorry,
I'm sorry, Bobby. Did I misspeak?
Well,
Mr. Blunt.
what I was going to say is, well, I guess I you never misspeak. I never say That's
Well, it's okay.
I never say that. But
I'm not too proud.
well, no, no. One thing the board is saying, we say endowment. It's actually what we did is put the funds in the Northside Education Foundation. So it's not an NISD funding anymore. It's Northside Education Foundation. And I bring that up because the other thing is that we were hoping that others would contribute so they continue on longer term. So we as board members, just like any other NEF special grant. So that was the other purpose. It has two parts to it. You know, the teacher grant, then we also have the Pathways program, but the Pathways program hasn't needed the funding from it. They found other pathway, but that was also identified. But the ones that run it is actually the grants office. I mean, I sent everything out. Everything is in place. I mean, they've set up the scholarship applications based on the feedback from last year. They've actually got a schedule out. Hope everybody took a look at that. So everything is in place right now, and they're just waiting on if we want to go forward. But they're set up to do everything and have to be able to support us. Last year, I think everybody participated, right?
Yes.
Yeah, everybody
Well,
did it
we
last
waited
year.
for everyone to
Yeah, and it's set up that way too. If everybody wants to score theirs again, it's already in place to be able to do that.
That's true.
So this is just to see.
The form is already done, right? We
Yeah,
just-
everything's already done, yeah. It's just up to if we want to continue that way and everybody involved, or
Does everyone
like
wanna-
Dr. Kraft, or maybe a subset of people if everybody doesn't want to.
The new folks, you didn't participate though,
No.
right? So
I did not.
Okay, so we got, I think maybe talk
Which new
about the
folks?
process. Well,
Didn't y'all?
did you participate in that? No.
No, they
I
would.
didn't hear about the process is what I'm
We
saying.
had
I
it
don't know
finished
that
by May.
that's, Bobby, that's the thing
Everybody
that,
scored it last year.
No, they wouldn't have.
they
No.
wouldn't have, because it came before they were on the.
Completed
Dr. Hasso
Exactly.
and
So
Ms.
that's the
Zapata wouldn't have.
process I'm talking about.
Okay.
First comes this, then comes that,
Well,
that's in place, but I don't think I've ever seen it written. Like,
it's,
we get a stack of, I'm just saying I haven't
Yeah.
seen it written. I'm not.
I think
arguing.
grants might
I
have.
sent it out. I sent it out to everybody. That's why I'm hesitating.
Grants department.
Everybody take a look at the email I sent to you. It had the whole scholarship application. It had the process. It had the
Oh, I thought it
schedule.
was something-
Because
Yeah,
grants wrote
everything
it.
was,
Grants
wrote
I
it.
sent it out to everybody.
So it's official. So we can follow that if you'd like. It's a spreadsheet, and then you
Okay.
get the names, and then you get the rubric, and then you go and read their stuff, and then you nominate, and then they take it all, they compile that data and grants, and then we have the winners.
Okay.
And so I apologize. I did misspeak, Bobby. Okay, so do we need to designate the number of scholarships that the board wants to
Yes.
award?
We don't. We have up to 12,500. We can do. Last time we waited. We can decide later on that part.
Okay.
That was 2,500 per. It's actually a good grant. Yeah. I mean, it's up to what we did last time. Sort of waited and then decided. You know, once we saw them, hey, let's do a couple of these. And actually did,
So
yeah, three.
do the kids know ahead of time how much they're applying for though?
When they send it out, yeah, that's all part of the process. The
So-
grants application.
Okay, so go back to the question that you just asked. How, we have 12,000.
Yeah, they're submitting for a
So-
2,500 grant.
So okay, so that's 5 or 6 kids, right?
Well, if we want to give it all out, yeah. We did 2 the first year. We did 3 last year.
Right.
That's why we have 12,500 left.
Okay, I see what you're saying. Oh, yeah. 4 kids in an arm. Okay. Okay. Okay.
Bobby, the information has been sent out, but
Yeah.
the individual applications have not yet.
No, they're waiting on us. We told them to hold up to this meeting. They're waiting on us
Okay.
to put it online and everything else they have to do.
So what do we want to do, board? Do we all want to rate these? Are we okay with that?
Oh, yeah.
It wasn't like an astronomical number.
Oh, there were a lot.
There were a lot.
It took a long time to
Wow.
read them all.
I mean, to me, I guess I'm used to it.
It was,
Oh,
it
I'm
was
just trying to
time
think how
consuming.
many. Was it 20-something?
No, well, the anticipation is this is the first year from our Stevens High School
Cast.
seniors that there will be a lot more this year is the
You've
anticipation.
got, if I remember correctly, right at 150 that will be graduating. Well, it's
The
the
seniors.
first senior class.
Seniors.
It's the first graduating class.
If they all apply. Well, committee,
Yeah.
who would like to decide on a committee? Only-
Well, it sounds like the committee is just going to be everyone that wants to
Yeah.
participate in the assessment, scoring process. Okay, is there any other action that needs to be taken?
No, we just need to
this
let the
evening?
grants committee
Found.
go ahead and get started.
There's the layout.
Yeah. Oh, you found it? Thank you. You did good.
Amazing. So can we send that out to us again and then we get started? Whoever wants to participate, please, if you have the bandwidth to evaluate whatever comes in, let us know.
Love it. Thanks.
Dr. Kraft, the $1,000, do we want to add that? Does the board want to add that to this or?
The winnings?
Oh, did we get the check already?
Yes, we did. We received it.
Oh,
Yes.
good.
Do we have an I don't know if it's an obligation, but we probably should tell TASB what we use the money or how.
They have not asked for anything back on it,
Okay.
but it
Let us-
is- it does say it's a scholarship.
Let us
For
place this on the 11th consent agenda to take formal action to designate that funding,
That $1,000.
and then we can forward that information to TASB just for their awareness. Because I really haven't worded the agenda just quite appropriately to take that action.
Okay.
You've got some time. Okay.
And by the way, I'm sorry, Dr. Kraft.
Sorry?
I was gonna say, this is really good, so I'll be happy. 'Cause we sort of did it on a.
I'm happy.
I threw it off a little bit, but good, because this is a really good thing that we're doing. I mean, it's really good. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
We just need to get them fast. Get them to us.
Sounds like a plan.
All right. Yeah, thank you. And I know that, like I say, you probably will have a few additional this year as a result of CAST. They're pretty excited, and we're excited for the students. Okay. The item that just we need some guidance. And I'll explain once again what this item pertains to. So, as you probably recall, there are three new bills that couple with the Open Meetings Act. And so what we had been accustomed to is if we had a called meeting, a regular meeting, even a workshop, we were able to, in essence, post the agenda 72 hours prior to that meeting being conducted. So, for example, on a Tuesday meeting, this agenda would have been posted on Friday. That's changed. So as a result of House Bill 1522, not only do we have to be in full compliance with the Open Meetings Act, we also have to now post the agendas 3 business days prior to the meeting being held or conducted, particularly if there's a quorum of the board. And so when you do that math, that requires us to post the agenda with 3 business days the Wednesday prior to, say, a Tuesday evening meeting, because the day of the meeting cannot count technically as one of those 3 business days. So that's put a little bit of a wrinkle in the mix as to how we have to think forward with the posting of agendas. The other wrinkle is that if there is a quorum of the board, i.e. a committee meeting, which you saw last night if you had the opportunity to attend academics, is we have to provide audio and video recording. And this is in association with Senate Bill 413. And so that is also kind of added a little bit of a complication, particularly as not only are we looking at the posting and meeting the 3 business day requirement, particularly if there's going to be a quorum, but then also the audio video recording. Because that's not complicated enough, Senate Bill 12 requires that any meeting where there is a quorum of the board, it has to be held outside of regular business hours. Our attorney, Walsh Gallegos, has in essence, interpreted outside of business hours as well as others. It's 5 o'clock or thereafter. And so that is part of the complication in and around the posting of the agendas, but then also how we go about scheduling, particularly committee meetings where we anticipate a quorum. Now, as far as the committees, and I believe you have a copy of the committee membership in board docs, if I'm not mistaken. There's a few options, and again, I'll mention these again, and this is where we need really guidance in the sense of how do you prefer to operate really as a board of trustees, particularly with committee meetings, because right now I'll be the first to admit it's a little bit complicated. It's probably far more complicated than it needs to be, and that's where, like I say, we just need some guidance. I'm sorry, I'm looking for my notes.
I mean, it's not on board.
Yeah, if you don't mind printing a few copies. Sorry, Monica.
I guess, but does it matter?
Well, I don't know that it
The
matters.
committee,
So let
the
me
number of committee members
Yeah.
per committee, because we could still all go to, and we still shuffle that.
Yeah,
So I don't,
Dr. Hassel.
while she's working on that, let me kind of just talk through.
Dr. Hassel has a question real quick.
Okay.
Yeah, I just think we're not like academics for sure. Like we were all there, but like the other meetings, like we're not all there, and that is a lot of Like I feel like it's important, obviously, for us to post the agenda and all that good stuff, so community members can come and they can speak. But we're not all going to every single meeting. I guess that's the biggest discussion of like, are we all going to go to, because we can, correct? Like, but are we going to actually go? Like, I know the finance meeting's already set, like it's in January. Everyone has the date already. And so looking at that, I know some people have already said like, hey, I'm not going to be there. So it's like, for sure at the finance meeting, is it just going to be 3 of us? If so, then, is that what we will have? So I think that's
Well,
the thing.
and that's it in a nutshell. And I'll just say it a little bit more plainly. No.
Oh, here's a copy of the way that we signed up so far.
Yeah. So we're what we're doing is the way we're operating right now is we are basically preparing until we have confirmed communication. We are preparing as it's going to be a called meeting. Just as you saw last night, we sat at the dais. We have to in order to be able to provide the audio video recording. I mean, we're treating it like a called meeting, and that's fine. But if it's not going to be a quorum of the board, for example, a building committee, David attended, we don't have to meet those same posting requirements. We don't have to have a video audio team ready to go just to tell them, hey, y'all go on home for that afternoon. I mean, we're jumping through a lot of hoops right now for committee meetings that is not necessary if we know we're not going to have a quorum of the board. But if we do have a quorum of the board, and again, I'm not recommending that all trustees, particularly if it's a meeting like we had last night that's very important, i.e. our core business academic meeting, you have the ability to attend. We've just got to coordinate how we go about not only the preparation of agendas, posting of agendas, but really just the overall general operations of the committee. So that kind of leads me to, obviously we've discussed these different options. There could be the establishment of committees that here are a maximum of 3 members that participate on each committee. Other members do not participate. If there are consent agenda items as a result of those committee meetings, again, you have You retain the opportunity to pull those agenda items off of the consent agenda for further discussion. But that would, in essence, really make it very streamlined, very simple. You could have meetings during the course of the business day, as we are with building committee. So there's just, you're not having to meet the letter of the new law in regards to
So like-
posting requirements, audiovisual recording, minutes, et cetera.
The
Okay.
3 or less.
Yes, that's one option. I'm not suggesting that because I know that, like I say, in some instances, particularly as we were working through finance committees meetings, those were just called meetings last spring, if you recall. I mean, those were really not committee meetings as much as they were just a called meeting dedicated to looking at budget reduction strategies and school finance. Okay. Another option would be you could do that, or we treat each meeting kind of as we have right now, or we have up to this point since September 1, where we create a more structured calendar that, in essence, we have standing committee meetings on a particular date that we publish the calendar, and then we just know, unless there's no business to be conducted, we're going to have a policy committee on this date in November. We're going to have an academic committee meeting on this date. We just build it out, which actually Megan, because this is how she operates, has already built it out. So there's a proposed draft that would help us from a planning standpoint of the posting of agendas and ensuring that we're meeting, like I say, particularly not only the Open Meetings Act, but also the letter of the law. The other option, there are several, I apologize, but another option would be, rather than committee meetings, have board workshops. And so the information that is provided and presented and discussed at committee meetings just goes on a workshop agenda. We would probably need at least 2 per regular month prior to coming before the board on a consent agenda or considered at a regular called meeting. That's another option.
What does that mean, board workshops?
Well, there's no more standing committees.
We just talk about whatever the issues
So
are?
we would, at a workshop, we would focus on items that are discussed at a building committee, the turnaround plans that are discussed at academics. There wouldn't be action taken. You would still have the need for public comment. But like I say, it's just a workshop where we take up a pretty hefty agenda. But in essence, every trustee has the opportunity to hear what's being discussed or would have been discussed normally in any of the 5 committee meetings. Here is the kicker to a workshop meeting, though, is we have to have enough to gavel in and have a quorum present. So, and if we miss a workshop as a result of not having a quorum, we're going to fall quickly behind. That's just one of the drawbacks. While talking about that, as we're looking at committee meetings, if you don't have a quorum, you don't have to necessarily, not necessarily, you don't have to comply with the Open Meetings Act, but you don't have to also comply with these necessarily these 3 new pieces of legislation. It's been the board's practice with committee meetings, even though it's not a quorum, to have a opportunity for public comment, particularly on those agenda items that are going to be taken up. If you have a quorum, then by the letter of the law, there needs to be the opportunity for public comment because, in essence, it's operating just as a board meeting. I know I'm unloading a lot right now, but these are all things that we really need refinement because while I know it sounds like overload, we're running around in cabinet meetings, senior staff meetings, department meetings, trying to figure out when we're going to meet, but then more importantly, who's going to be present, Are we going to have a quorum? What is the posting timeline? Are we going to have audio visual support? I mean, you can kind of figure kind of what that looks like right now. It's a little chaotic, and as you know me, I don't like chaotic. And so really the question is, how do we want to operate as far as called meetings, as far as I mean, we're good on that front. It's really committee meetings as to how do we want to move forward. Do you want the citizens to be heard or a public comment if there's not a quorum? If there is a quorum, there has to be in compliance, at least to particular agenda items. We need some guidance.
So, option one, we minimize the ones that you're no longer attending to the ones that you really want to attend, and then we may not have a quorum, and then we'd be okay. And keep it standardized the times we're meeting on those. That's the simplest solution.
Carla.
Dr. Hassel.
My personal preference is the calendar because I'd like to attend meetings, and if I know ahead of time what days those are, because the biggest thing, like the last building meeting, I was available, I was off from work, but I scheduled a reading at an elementary school, so that interrupted with what I could have gone to a building meeting. So my personal preference is the schedule. It also makes it very transparent to the community when we're meeting. And I mean, obviously, if we don't meet because there's nothing to discuss, that's different. But it's at least fully transparent to individuals that we have scheduled meetings, this is when they are. And then it gives me personally enough time to schedule and to be able to work around that. That's my personal preference.
Okay. So if I may, and I apologize, I didn't make copies, but I'll pass this. This is just a sample, but this just gives you an idea of the number of meetings that we're going to be put on a calendar through August 25th. So, well, what we will do is we will pencil in standing committee meetings, and then again, if it's not necessary, for example, okay, typically technology, for example, we meet twice a year. We'll put in 2 meetings, placeholders for a year, but like finance, I mean, last spring, if you recall, we were meeting once a month. So what this is going to drive is we're estimating academics, policy, particularly with update 126 forthcoming, finance. We'll need to schedule more than likely monthly meetings. If it's not necessary, okay, we can cancel, but we're going to basically pencil in those meeting dates so that we know well in advance and can plan in accordance with that calendar. Now, the challenge with this, which we can do it either way, is okay. Well, there's a hot topic. We've got to have an academic meeting. Well, it may be 3 weeks before we have the next academic meeting scheduled on this calendar. And so then we're interjecting yet another level of complication. Who can make it? Do we just make it a called meeting? I mean, you kind of see the dynamics that we're. So my suggestion is if we do the calendar, we stick to the calendar.
And we're calling these all meetings with all this.
We're going to treat them. We will treat them as a called meeting. And so, in other words, the agenda will be posted 3 business days prior to the meeting. If there's not a quorum that shows up, then again, we'll send audio-visual team home. But that's how we'll plan going forward. Because right now, we're truly trying to operate based upon who do we think is going to be there, who's confirmed, who's RSVP'd, and I mean, so we're having to err on the side of safety.
Yeah.
Mr.
I was gonna say I'm okay with three members per committee, as long as we can get on the internet the information like the way Jacob does them. We're able to pull out all the I mean, I just pulled up the one that we're looking at,
Presentations.
so I can make it bigger. We can have access to the information. I mean, I'd be all right with that.
Oh, he has a drive where we can go and access the presentations and see everything.
Oh, okay.
So we can
Yeah,
limit to
and
the
so,
three.
that was another, the minutes. Right now, what we're planning to do is whether it's, if there's no, quorum, the minutes we're gonna put in Friday letter. Now, if it's a meeting like it was yesterday, the board's gonna have the opportunity to approve those minutes. Because in essence, it was a meeting. So we can, to Mr. Salcido's point, we can operate like a drive where we publish, the material that was covered, even though we don't have a quorum, is viewable for all trustees. But here's the problem, and I say it's a problem. It's just a matter of planning logistics. We're planning a committee meeting, say a building committee. If a fourth member shows up, that fourth member's either going to have to go home or we're not going to be able to meet because we haven't posted the agenda within these new guidelines that we have in state law now. I'm just explaining all the pitfalls and complications right now.
Mr. Blunt?
Yeah. What about the possibility of reducing the number of committees that we have?
Yes.
And incorporate those within our regular meetings, and also looking at time, like last night, for example. Well, if we're going to spend the time, we could have potentially done it tonight if we're all there anyway, as opposed to. So reduce the number of committees, discussing that, as well as what needs to present at the committee. Relook at that and say some of it should be at a full board meeting anyway.
And that's a great point, which kind of goes back to the workshop conversation. So I would suggest maintaining academics. I would suggest maintaining finance. The policy, I think you could make a called meeting because that is, as you well know, as a trustee, one of your responsibilities is the delivery and oversight of board policy. But that's up to you. I mean, we do have a rather large update forthcoming. I think that's going to need all of your attention, quite honestly. Technology, we could incorporate either in academics, or we could incorporate a 1 hour presentation at a board meeting very easily. Building needs to be separate. We just have so much volume still ahead. So it is, I mean, so we could quasi-absorb, we could absorb technology into either academics and or regular meeting, and quasi-absorb policy. Really, the big policy decisions are legislative priorities leading up to a legislative session, and then kind of on the other end, post-legislative session, all the policy that comes as a result of the new legislation.
Okay. So that would be eliminating two.
Dr. Harrell?
Thanks. I was thinking similar thoughts, Bobby, and I was just, combining, because we've talked about that before. The other is, I am fascinated by the workshop approach. I know one of the districts I was in, we did it that way, and it was almost like a dress rehearsal for the board meeting, and it really made the board meetings a little more efficient because the discussions had, and it was open to everybody. So it wasn't like, it was something, I mean, it was almost like another board meeting. In a way.
And it'll have to be
with participation.
It'll have to be after 5 o'clock.
Right.
Here's what we could do. I mean, there is,
We all were here.
you have the ability, we have the ability to call a meeting at any time. We could try the workshop, not necessarily do anything, not eliminate committee meetings, but we could try the workshop approach, see how it works. I can gather feedback from administration. We can see how it works, And then if we just feel like that it's so voluminous that we just can't do it, we can't knock it all out in a workshop, we can revert right back to this conversation. I mean, again, we could almost pilot the workshop approach.
Well, and I was just gonna say, I do like the idea of a schedule. Like, you can always count on, a third Thursday or something, I mean, instead of trying to move
Yeah.
and please everybody. The other is taking advantage of the hour before the board meetings too. That worked out nicely, so.
We're gonna, if we're moving forward, we are going to have that schedule. And I understand everyone is busy. This is not a complaining, but we're going to have a set schedule, because right now our abilities to be able to work with everyone's calendar and try to meet the optimum date for every committee, it's just not working. This is the part that's it's pretty clunky right now. And then really working to plan in advance to meet the posting requirements, and then, for an example, turnaround planning or turnaround plans. We had an academic committee yesterday. Ideally, we would wait to put that agenda item on, but then we start running into deadlines as to when things need to be submitted. I mean, you can kind of start seeing how this just starts to snowball, in us really getting behind.
Ms. Zapata?
If I agree too. I think maybe pairing some of these committees, but okay, so if we do that route, right, or that's the workshop model. So if we do that, then we are going to pick a specific date, and we can kind of plan them out. And then, but because of that, we will have quorum at every one of those meetings.
We'll
So
need
that
to have a
means-
quorum.
So that means that there will be audio and recording.
Yes.
Okay. I think that's important, that we just are very transparent in what we're doing. So
There won't be, we'll work it so that there won't be action. So it'll be a first reading, it'll be a first review of a schematic design. And one of the things too we've discussed is we will work to cull down potentially some of the items that, I'll give an example. We have in my office tonight for your review, Marshall and Stinson colors. Well, these are additions that I'll just tell you, my instructions to the architect is match the color scheme. And so, do we need to spend an hour with the
No.
board reviewing a matching color palette that we oftentimes do in building committee? I
don't get it.
I think we can be a little bit more strategic. Okay, hey, the color scheme is in the office. If you would like to, if there's anything you've got concerns about, well, we can fix it. But that's not an hour-long conversation, in my opinion.
It has been, but we can change, we're evolving.
I like it.
So Mrs. Freeman.
I wonder, even though you said that about building committee, though, I wonder about the idea of keeping the building committee during the day for a lot of reasons. If there's I don't know what interest there is on the board. If it was, should we roll that into the workshop, or just continue to keep building committee at 3?
It's really up to you. We've been able to operate. Yeah, we've been able to operate because we don't have a quorum in that manner. I know that we've talked about the architects, the engineers, the contractors, being here at 8:00 at night. You just approved $68 million. They can be here.
Exactly. Not only that, though, like, yes, that's been it's during the day, and even if we wanted to go, a lot of us work and we cannot go.
Yeah.
So I think the workshop allows for those of us that can get a brief of what's happening anyway. That makes sense. Then just 2 people there.
Or one.
Dr. Hassel.
Are we ready to bring it to a vote?
Well, so let me, I don't know, I mean, I've got it on there for potential.
You have a question?
Action.
Or just like,
I don't,
like,
here is what I need to know is there anyone opposed to us, first and foremost, trying to take the workshop approach? Because really, it's just calling a meeting.
So my question is, doing that would eliminate meeting.
We don't have another, so between now and November 11th, 11th, we don't have any more scheduled committee
Go
meetings.
check this.
So I think that we're going to be in pretty good shape leading up to November 11th. Between November 11th and December, we may look at a date possibly, even though Thanksgiving break kind of throws it's going to be pretty tight because when we come back from Thanksgiving, we literally have 3 weeks. And I can just tell you, no, there won't be time for a workshop. So the first workshop would be the month of January leading into the regular meeting in January. So if unless there's any opposition as to taking that approach, we'll pilot that in January, potentially again in February, see how it goes. Jacob, Brian, real quickly, I know that y'all are, is there the need for a building committee prior to or leading into the November 11th or the December, I want to say it's 8th meeting. I'll have to look at it here.
It's 9th,
December
December 9th.
So we forwent the November because we delayed any items, but there are some key change orders and things that we plan on bringing in December. And there's also the GMP for Marshall, the third amendment that is critical to keep that project on task.
Okay, so we'll need to have a building committee, just as we have in between.
And in academics for calendar and that we're taking in December for approval.
Well, what we'll do with the academic, well, what we can do is we can treat it we'll treat, if it's okay with the board, November 11th as somewhat of a workshop as well, and that'll be an opportunity to review the first draft of the calendar. What was the other item?
So there was enrichment academy reports, outdoor learning classroom, approval of the calendar, CCMR, closed campus lunch, and there was a 5th or 6th item that I can't recall.
Okay, well then we'll need to, let me back up. We'll need to look at a workshop date between the 11th and the 9th, 8th, 9th.
Of December.
I mean, it'll likely be the very next week, the 3rd week in November.
Mrs. Zapata.
No, I spoke earlier.
Mrs. Dr. Hassel.
So then does it make sense to vote on, are we doing 3-member committee? Are we doing preset date? Or are we doing a workshop?
My recommendation is let's hold on anything with committees and let's see how a workshop works. We'll send out again just
Decide if a workshop is what we're doing.
Well, I guess I'm not clear because we talked, you gave a couple of things. You said for a workshop, it would include every committee of 5?
what it will include, if we do a workshop, what it will include is Jacob's for the month of November, so the 3rd week in November, Jacob's items, calendar, some of the academic items, if there's anything related to finance, but I don't think there is on my radar.
We gotta do policy?
We could, we could have some policy items.
Technology?
No, we'll be okay.
So it is all 5 committees at a workshop. So we would not have committees anymore.
Well, just to try, like I say, this is just so you get an idea of what this is going to look like if we don't have committee meetings any longer, and we try to attack it all in a workshop.
I think ideally that sounds like a perfect solution. but these are like short items. So in a real workshop, how many hours are we gonna talk about?
I mean, you can probably anticipate a 3-hour workshop,
Like another board meeting, like 5
but
to
you're
10.
not going to be in an academic meeting. You're not, I mean, you're kind of trading time for time, in essence.
So all 5. What do you think? Wait, are we voting?
Well, and more opportunity for more people to be there, so really then the board meetings are about approvals.
And none of this other, I went to 100 places. Okay. All right.
And this will be a pilot for us as well, because this is going to be obviously a different mode of operations for the 5 departments.
Do we have citizens to be heard again? No, I'm just
We
kidding.
will have to. You will have to have a citizens to be heard to the agenda items, because again, because it's a called meeting. Yeah, and I think we would want to start at 6.
For the workshops. So like a board meeting from 6 to midnight. Mr. Blunt.
I'm sorry, and I would just say I'd be a little bit repetitive, but as a part of that, would be like you're doing now, sort of managing what needs to be done at the workshop versus now we can start pushing this more at the regular board meeting.
Right.
If we had maybe a future, like we do our future agenda items, that may be an opportunity to say, okay, this is what's coming up in this one. Do we need a workshop, or can we do it as part of the
Exactly.
board meeting? Thank you.
Exactly. I'm very familiar with this mode of operations. I've got to get back into that mode of thinking, but it really requires the development of a true board calendar of this is when the first report is up. This is when the audit is up. And you plan backwards.
This workshop, so it's gonna be open for, like for people to speak to?
It will have to be open. We'll have to have a public comment portion to the agenda items.
Okay.
Now, the regular meetings will have the public comment that doesn't necessarily have to speak to, they don't have to speak to an agenda item that's been posted.
Got it.
I'm curious that, like, for example, at a building, academics, how do they know to sign up to talk about something if they haven't heard the content at a workshop?
I don't know. I've never spoken at a public board meeting, actually. I'm thinking about it, but
Citizens to be heard?
Yes.
It's gonna be posted. It's still posted.
I understand, but they haven't heard what's being proposed. By the time it gets to the board, they kind of already know. They've heard it through, they've already,
well, and
somebody.
here's one approach that you can take the approach of, you take the public comment when they fill out the form, you take the public to say agenda item number 3, you take the public comment up with those agenda items after the administration presents. You can absolutely do that. It's the same amount of time.
Because the workshop is vetting it. We're not voting. We're discussing, just like a committee meeting. It'll come up as a vote at the board meeting. And it'll be spoken about. And then that knowledge will have already been kind of like the committees.
And ideally, the workshop presentation is, okay, we need to revise the schematic design. We need to look at something a little bit more closely, and we'll bring it back to a regular agenda and review it again. So it won't necessarily just go directly on a consent agenda.
And we're still gonna keep, just to make sure, safety, security, PTA.
I would leave the committees,
rest, those
I would leave
ones.
everything as is right now.
Yeah.
And all we're gonna do is we're gonna try a workshop to see how that,
November
just
11th.
to see what the taste is. Well, 11th, we've already got, it's a regular scheduled meeting, but we may, in essence, preview, workshop some of the items so that leading into December 8th, you've seen them. Does that make sense?
It will.
Okay.
We'll put it together. I don't think that there's a necessary vote, as long as you're in agreement that we are going to look at posting a workshop called meeting. Well, no, it's
agree.
it's all within policy,
Robert's rules.
and it's just you can vote.
Is anyone
Is anyone,
opposed?
is anyone,
That's Robert's rules.
is anyone necessarily
opposition.
in opposition of calling for a workshop
No,
item?
nobody is. Okay, we're gonna try the workshop.
Yeah, I start saying, we need to, if we're gonna do it, let's do it formally.
Good or we don't, but no, you can't do
All right, does anyone have a motion that we move to try the board workshop?
So moved.
Second? Discussion?
Just real quick, what's the start time? Could we do the start time at like 5:30? 6 o'clock, okay,
I would
that's,
suggest 6 o'clock,
that's
just
fine.
being in uniform with our called meetings,
That's-
regular meetings.
that's better. That way it gives me time to get here.
Okay, so second, you seconding then?
Yes, ma'am,
Okay.
second it.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, motion carries to try a workshop.
Well said.
Thank you. This will be fun. This is a learning experience for us all. As far as future agenda items, we've already discussed most. So you've got, we'll bring back the.
The time is now.
We'll bring back the target improvement plans. We'll have a few other items, innovative courses. One thing we do need to be aware of coming back in November, your 2026 County Appraisal District, Bear County Appraisal District vote. So that'll be coming in November. And then, like I say,
And Medina, we received that one.
yeah,
today,
I'm sorry,
too.
in Medina and
We'll see about Bandera.
Bandera. So
They'll get it. They use it.
Okay, sir. Thank you. And
we'll be ready. Okay.
so it's 9:30, 5, we'll reconvene a closed session. Right? And the board will now convene. According to Texas Government Codes 551071 through 551084, we will not be taking action, and any decisions we'll make when we reconvene into open session. All right, the time is now 10:10, and the board is reconvening into open session. No action was taken in closed session. Regarding the agenda items discussed in closed session, is there a motion to come before the board?
I
Dr.
move that the board
Zapata. Sorry.
I move that the board approve the written contract presented for listed employees to receive a financial benefit for providing services outside of Northside ISD based on a determination that the contracts will not harm Northside ISD. The arrangement does not present a conflict of interest, and the services will be performed entirely on the administrator's personal time.
Thank you. So we have a second. Okay, Dr. Hall seconds motion language for 11.b. And do we have a motion for 11C
We gonna
through
vote?
G? Oh, I'm sorry, we didn't vote, pardon. If all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, the motion carries. Thank you. Do we have any motions to approve the? Dr. Harrell. To approve the administrative personnel recommendations as discussed in closed session? Mrs. Freeman?
I'm sorry, yes, I move that we approve the administrative appointments as discussed in executive session.
Do you have any seconds? Dr. Hassel? All right, so Dr. Hassel seconded and the motion passes.
But we need to vote.
We're going again.
All in favor, say aye, please.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, motion carries.
We good? Good?
Aye, it is now,
Time to go home and go to bed.
I can't see the time. What time is it? 10:12 in the meeting, and since there are no objections, we'll now adjourn. Thank you.